ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grab some tape.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Film Guy Network, powered by BetUS, on a very tantalizing Tuesday. Tantalizing?
I like that word.
Tantalizing?
Yeah.
Tantalizing.
Works for me.
We'll go with it. Tantalizing Tuesday. It is loaded. We have a great show for you guys today, but I want to start here. I'll be honest with you. We live in a very special day and age as college football fans, man. We got a lot of things going for us nowadays. You know, we actually got parity in this sport. We got a lot of parity in this sport. A lot of really good football teams with some national title hopes this year, right? We have wall-to-wall coverage of this sport we love, more so than ever before. We have a paid labor force in this sport, finally, in the world of college football. Maybe a pro to some, maybe a con to others with regards to the world of college football. We have a record number of participants and viewers, not only on this network, particularly on this network, but around basically any network that's consistently pumping out college football content. We are at an all-time, right? We are up, as I would say. We are up in the world of college football nowadays, right? But for all of the reasons that we are definitely up in the world of college football, I would say the number one reason we are up in the world of college football is because of the modern advancements of technology and the modern advancement of specifically television, right? Now, look, I know you and I both, all of us, everyone at home, everyone listening right now, we all have to subscribe to about 19 different services to get every football game. But boys and girls, we get every football game. We are so up. Did you know that this Thursday, while simultaneously watching the Film Guy Network live from 8 to 10 o'clock, you can also attempt to watch 21 college football games, Division I college football games at the same exact time? Did you know that?
No.
Did you know you can attempt to watch the Film Guy Network and 21 different Division I football games on a Thursday evening? We are at the pinnacle of the madness that is mainlining the world of college football, right? If you're a fiend, if you're an addict to the world of college football, like I happen to be, now is a great time. We got a little taste. We got a little taste last weekend of what it is to mainline football. We get the whole football. We get the whole football experience this week. All right, 21 games this Thursday while watching the Film Guy Network. But here's the deal. I don't care how much of a fiend you are. I don't care how much of an addict you are. I don't care what your threshold for entertainment is. We can only watch so many things. A man has his limits. Mm-hmm. A man has his limits when watching football. All right, so everyone's going to have this type of experience. I don't care if you're a one screener, if you're a two screener, if you're a 21 screener, whoever you are, however you mainline this addiction that is football coming our way this weekend, okay? However it is, you're going to have a main action. And then you're going to have something on the side that you're just trying to take a peek at. All right, you don't want the whole course. You don't want to watch all of it. But there's something that's got your eye that you're going to take a peek at. And I've got a top five, boys. I got a top five for you on all-time top five take a peek at teams.
Is it a true top five?
Oh, it's a true top five. No lie. It's a type five. It's a type five with the top five. I cooked. Number five. I ain't got to watch a whole lot of this football team, but anytime they got the ball, give me Toby Gerhardt's Stanford football team. Because anything other than Toby Gerhardt touches, ain't got to watch it. I'm going to take a peek at it. I'm going to take a peek at Toby Gerhardt. A lot to watch right there. I'm going to take a peek at Coastal 2020. Okay? I don't need to watch a whole lot of Coastal Carolina 2020, but I'm going to take a peek. They're going to be over there on the side, especially if they drum it up somebody. Offense, kind of interesting to me. I'm going to take a peek. Okay? I'm going to take a peek at that. Number three, Denard Robinson's Michigan Wolverines. At one point, I call them the saving Brady hoax job Wolverines. At one point, they were 11-2 off the back of shoeless, tieless Denard Robinson. I'm going to take a peek. That's all that was worth watching, Denard Robinson in that one. Number two, I'm going to take a peek at Colt Brennan's Hawaii. Ooh, I'm going to take a peek at that. Good long peek, honestly. Honestly, and guess what? It's a great peek. It's honestly like watching golf in the sense that you only really got to watch golf when your guy's up. Hey, I only got to watch Hawaii when when Colt Brennan's up. Give me a take a peek at Colt Brennan. And then number one all time, it's weekly take a peek. Weekly, 9 weeks out of the year, a weekly take a peek at whatever the hell's going on at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Because if there's an SEC game going on in Jordan-Hare, I'm gonna have to take a peek. What's going on over there? They got who in a dog fight? What's going on over there? I'm gonna have to take a peek. What you feel about my top 5 take a peek at teams? And do you have any mentions of? You get the point of. I definitely don't want to watch the whole experience, but I'm gonna take a peek.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some while you were going through your list. First off, good list.
Great
I think those are all good. Like throughout time, those are definitely take a peek teams. Had to check in on those on Saturday. I can't recall of one.
I thought about Oregon, but Oregon was like you almost want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, Oregon was
too much.
Kellen Moore, Boise State teams were fun to watch back in the day. Take a peek at them. Not watch the whole game, but see maybe what Power 5 team they're giving trouble.
Honestly, touchy subject, but they ran the pistol, the first one to do it. I took a lot of peek at Nevada, Colin Kaepernick. I took a good peek. Yeah. And at one point, I think they were a top 10 football program, and Boise State, I was taking a peek. That's all I'm saying. I was taking a peek.
Very much a take a peek team. Especially Kaepernick back.
I got things that I'm taking a peek at this week.
I got a couple too.
It's a good week for taking a peek. You know what I mean? Because there's not there's a couple games that you're going to have on the main screen, but the simultaneous, dual screen actions this week are almost strictly take a peek at teams and take a peek at situations.
Take a peek week for sure.
It's take a peek week. I like that. Some people opening up the season with syllable week in the world of collegiate athletics. We open it up with take a peek week. I like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you taking a peek at this
I'm telling you right now, starting Thursday while we're on the show, I'm going to be taking a peek at my man Taylon Green, or as I like to call him, a whole bunch of 6'6", okay? That's what we got going on. We got Boise State 6'6" coming to the SEC. And you know what they say about him? They got a lot of buzz, a lot of hype. Almost like a I'm not saying he's going to be Dewan Mathis and flame out. But here's how I feel about 6'6", take a peek. Guys that like really pique interest and they flash all the time. There's only one of two ways this is going. Our man Taylon Green is going to be a freak or he's going to be a bust. And I can't wait to take a peek and see what it is. And I guarantee you this week against mid-major, this take a peek's gonna look nice. We're gonna get some explosive Taylon Green because it's gonna look like what it looked like at Boise State based off their opponent this week on a Thursday night.
I like that. I'm
gonna be taking a peek, Taylon Green.
I'm gonna take a peek at this Illinois State game because they are playing the Iowa Hawkeyes, and I'm very curious just to see what that offense looks like. Is it gonna be dog shit yet again, or is there gonna be something to it this year? I know Kirk Ferentz has been kind of hyping it up, so we'll see.
You know how anticipatory my feelings are towards Iowa's offense? I did the research, found out who they hired, did the whole background study on them to make a joke one show. Already forgot Buddy from Iowa's name. It's just like that. So there you go.
That's why you take a peek.
It's no longer his son, so that's gonna get me because now I'm gonna be going to shit on him, and I'm not gonna actually have his name.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna have to remember that.
That's why you take a peek in week 1.
Buddy from Ohio State or Iowa.
Buddy from Iowa got to get his shit together. But it's like, Buddy, I got Cade McNamara as my quarterback. A lot of guys coming. What do you got?
I'm taking a peek at Syracuse this weekend. I just kind of want to see what has happened with Fran Brown in year 1, in the week 1. Just kind of see what that program looks like.
I want to take a peek.
Yeah, I don't want 4 quarters of Syracuse football, and I definitely don't want anybody finding out that I'm keeping an eye on Syracuse football, but I'm going to keep it a peek.
You don't want people to know you're checking out the cues,
yeah, no.
You don't want to be out here broadcasting that you're peeking the cues.
That's just a quick ESPN stat tracker check. Okay, yeah, we got that.
I got
Keep it on the down low.
I'm going to be taking a peek at this player for one specific reason. I want to see his mobility. Is Cam Rising moving like a tall building? Okay, or is he moving like an athlete? Because Cam Rising, year 7, 8, 19, whatever we're at this point. Yeah. Okay, a 28-year-old playing college football, couple knee injuries. Is Cam Rising moving like a really, really tall falling building, or does he actually have some mobility? I'm gonna take a peek. They're playing Southern Utah, so I don't expect him to get much burn.
Sneaky good college football 25 team.
Really? Utah?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sweat, huh?
Oddly physical.
I'm gonna check it out.
I'm gonna check it out.
You know what? Now, while we're on the topic, I've been meaning to get this off my chest. I'm already burnt out on this football game, college football 25, for this reason. At this point, it's either play with Alabama or play against Alabama online. That's it. There's so many teams, there's so many people playing with Alabama because there's such a cheat code and it's so easy with Milroe and they're so good defensively.
He'll get nerfed soon.
Well, it's not even about nerfing. It's about people wanting to play with Milroe. And again, sidetrack, go ahead. I'm burnt out on it. It's at this point, every team I play online, and that's what I'm playing because our dynasty takes 9 years to advance. I'm playing online and it's either play with them or play against them. And I'm tired of playing against them.
I have heard that it is a big issue online.
It is. I'm going to take a peek at this Tennessee game because everyone's giving Nico this Heisman hype coming into year one as a starter. They're playing against Chattanooga, so, I mean, he's got a chance to put up some big numbers. Might be interesting to watch a couple drives in the first half.
Taking a peek at Nico, huh?
Yeah, peek at Nico.
A peek at Nico. I like that.
Peek at Nico.
Yeah, it's like Pico de Gallo, but Pico Nico.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to be taking a peek at this New Hampshire quarterback.
What?
That transferred to Minnesota. You ain't heard about Buddy?
No.
Okay, so PJ Fleck about lost his job last year because quarterback play was so damn bad. I mean, it was that bad. So, despite the fact of having a decent defense last year, PJ Fleck had to get heavily active in the portal. So he went and signed Buddy from New Hampshire. Buddy from New Hampshire about 6 foot, and Buddy from New Hampshire looked like he's slinging a little bit. Okay, I found myself watching New Hampshire highlight tape yesterday afternoon, and it was all right. He's real rotational thrower. He's got some fun platform tosses. This guy's really fun to watch. I don't know how Buddy from New Hampshire is going to look in Minnesota's offense, but I'm gonna damn sure take a peek.
I'm taking a peek at Brock Vandagriff this weekend.
Ooh, little BVG love.
Honestly, I think that Georgia fans got a better look at Gunnar Stockton than they ever did at Brock Vandagriff over his Georgia career because you got to see a lot of Gunnar in the Orange Bowl. Brock Vandagriff, it was maybe you get a few series, and even then, towards the end of his career, they started kind of sprinkling in Gunnar as well. So I think this is going to be like the first full, complete look at Brock Vandagriff. They got Southern Miss as the opening opponent. So not exactly a major opponent, but still, it'll provide a good look, maybe get a good feel of what he's like in that offense, how they want to use him, and just how he is as a football player at this point.
Big transfer, first home game,
First collegiate start.
Yeah. I'd be dialing up some video game type numbers. That's what I would be trying to do. I would be getting this dude leaving this game thinking he finna win a Heisman.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to do as an OC. I'm gonna be taking a peek at Lenore Sellers. I don't want to watch the whole game against Old Dominion, but I think, talking about video game, I think this guy is a video game. I think every bit of flash that I've seen from Lenore Sellers is he is going to make highlight plays. Is he going to be consistently good? That's what I'm trying to take a peek at. I don't need to take a peek at the flash. I know I'm gonna see it on social media. He's going to do 5 or 6 things on Saturday that has the world thinking this guy is going to be great. I'm going to take a peek at the consistency, and in order to do so, I ain't really going to be taking a peek. That's probably going to require a deep dive, but nonetheless, I'm going to be taking a peek at Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, I'm going to take a peek at this Michigan-Fresno State game. I'm interested to see what Orji does as a quarterback, but I'm also very interested to see just how that team looks as a whole. Everything that's happened in the offseason, losing Harbaugh, losing a lot of starters. What does Sharon Moore's first job as a coach look like? Going to be kind of interesting, but I do not want to watch that game all the way through.
I'm taking a peek at Drew Aller for the same reasons. I don't want 4 quarters of Drew Aller. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch Penn State versus West Virginia, but I want to see if Drew Aller is going to have any changes in his games, because that is the determining factor, it feels like, for Penn State and their college football playoff hopes, and whether or not they're going to be one of these top 10s in the Big Ten this year. So I'm taking a peek at that one. I just want to see what it's like.
Chat says they're taking a peek. Drew Rowell, I should say, from the chat says he's taking a peek at Cam Coleman from Auburn this week. That's a good shot.
That is a good one.
If you haven't, you should take a peek at the film study that we did today. 100% taking a peek at that. That's a long extended look.
Yeah, don't peek at it. Watch it all the way through.
Watch the bloopers and everything.
Pull the blinds up. You get a full look.
You ain't even taking a peek. You letting the world know that you saw that one.
Oh, yeah.
You opening the blinds. I like that. Are we taking a peek at anything else?
No.
Not football-wise.
Let's do it. Welcome into tonight's show. It is indeed a loaded one for you. We have Guess the Lines coming up, all brought to you by our friends over at BetUS. Who is under the most pressure in week 1? We're going to holler at that. One bold prediction makes its return, as does a legend of the show. A legend of the show makes a triumphant return, pits out and everything. We also are going to give you our predictions of the first Heisman moment that's going to occur this year. I've got several opportunities for this. Pretty excited about that opportunity to talk about that segment tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate and reviewing, all that good stuff. Of course, we will have a local hour coming up at 9 o'clock that's going to be loaded and jam-packed. That's going to have a bunch of review from film study and maybe some preview of some additional film study that's coming up. But first and foremost, I want to hammer out this national hour. Where do we want to start? I know where we want to
Where
start.
do we want to start?
Oh, we want to start with the friends and family over there at Bet US. That's what we want to do. We want to pay the bills. We'll pay the bills first and foremost. Let's get right into it. We have Guess the Lines, and this year we have a sponsorship. We're bringing us all of these lines. Bringing us all of these lines.
Yes, we do.
You gonna get there?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm here.
Hell yeah! You're running the segment, so let's do it.
All right, we got bringing it back, the rivalry between you two and the guest lines. One of my favorite segments that we did last year. Excited for it to bring it back this year. Now we have some interesting games in the mix because we've talked about a lot of them. Kirby picked his locks of the week yesterday. Don't want to use those games because we already talked about those.
They're already on a parlay.
Already on them. That's what
if
I said.
If we lose, he's fired. Comes right out of his paycheck.
Boy,
right out of the paycheck.
That's a lot of pressure.
Damn.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But if you hit big, 0 proceedings coming your way. 100% my way.
Good to know.
No commission.
All risk, no reward.
Yeah, good to know.
Commission. All right,
you got to risk it. You get no biscuit.
I like these odds.
Go ahead.
You should get really crazy with these picks in the future then. All right, first one we got up is UNC versus Minnesota.
Should try real hard.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game, actually. It's two teams that are kind of trying to just find their way, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's two coaches that have been there for a while in the program. Like, there's nothing really exciting about either of them. You have to kind of assume that you've reached the peak of Mac Brown and PJ
You get
Flood.
excited about Buddy from New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, you can get excited about that, but I don't think that's, like, going to carry you throughout the season. It's a pretty even matchup. I would give UNC the edge by 2 points here, though.
Oh, I went the other way. I got Minnesota favored by 1.5.
Well, you had the right number, but it's the other way around. UNC by 1.5. So very tight line. Obviously, the betting side, you bet US is kind of like, very toss-up game almost.
Can we? I do want to say something about this. He transferred in Max Johnson.
Yeah.
But I was interested to see what who was the young guy transferred out. Never mind. This is the first time he's really had to like go to the portal and get a guy.
Yeah, UNC's had some guys.
Yeah, normally their selection out of the high school market is really, really good. So this is interesting. Max Johnson. Above average,
nice
pretty
guy.
Decent college quarterback, right? We're gonna go decent.
Decent.
We're gonna go decent. That's where we're gonna go.
I think that's a good adjective for him. All right, second game we got TCU versus Stanford.
TCU versus
Take
Stanford.
this one
I'm guessing
first.
you're waiting on me. Stanford, really bad football team last year.
Very bad.
They won 2 games last year.
One was against Colorado. I know that.
Really bad
Great
football
game.
team last year.
Holy shit, that was such a good game.
I do love Ashton Daniels, though. I'm surprised he stayed there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He showed promise on a really, really bad roster last year. Shout out to Buford High School. I'm going to go... Stanford's got to be a heavy dog here. I'm going to go TCU favored by 10.
Damn, that's what I was going to do. All right, let me rethink this then. I don't think TCU is a great team. I don't think Stanford is a good team at all. I would give TCU an 8-point edge on this.
Well, we have a tie because it's -9, so we have a draw.
Wow.
No decision there on that one. So
Kissing
you guys
your sister.
both of you are all over it on that one. All right,
I've never understood that.
I never have either.
Why is that breaking even?
What, kissing your sister?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's breaking even.
because you're shooting for an actual girl, and like you're shooting for an actual win, and not kissing a girl is a loss. And so I guess the tie in that world was kissing your sister, which I guess
I would rather not kiss
far
a girl
more
than kiss
socially
my
acceptable
sister.
during the time of this saying having been created.
For sure.
Definitely a Southern term.
You think so?
Like, yeah.
You stereotyping Southern people for kissing their sisters.
I mean, let's
Moving on. All right.
I'm a Southern. I can say that.
I threw this in here because I wanted to bring Buddy from San Jose State into the mix. And also what happened last week for New Mexico State. We got Arizona versus New Mexico State. What's the line for this one?
I have absolutely no idea what people think about Arizona this year. There's a game of example for New Mexico on the board right now. It's not great. I would assume that Arizona's probably favored in this game because they're the Power 4 team. I would go Arizona -7.
Ironically enough, the term kissing your sister, we'll get back to this in a second, kissing your sister actually comes from the American game of football. Eddie Edrelatz in 1953 came up with this classic definition for a tie in a football game while describing a scoreless tie between Navy and Duke. I guess this was during a time when kissing your sister was better than kissing a man.
I guess.
Football, giving us the term, tying is like kissing your sister.
Lovely.
What game were we on?
We were on Arizona versus New Mexico State.
What'd you say?
I said Arizona -7.
I must have looked at the sheet a little bit differently. Give me Arizona 7.5.
Oh, neither one of you were close. It's Arizona -31, but Brooks gets the win.
Yeah, I went up on that. Who are they playing? Arizona? What?
New Mexico State.
Yeah, New Mexico State. Not a good football team.
No.
Yeah, Arizona. Buddy from San Jose State. You know what? Give me New Mexico State in that game. No way, no how. Buddy from San Jose State beats the team by
Really?
31 points?
31.
Yeah, no way. No way. Buddy from San Jose State ain't won a game by 31 points in his life. Not in his life.
You don't think Fafita and McMillan are just going to go bonkers?
Maybe.
I don't know. That is a lot of
Fafita
points.
could have a Heisman.
Give me my fighting Lobos.
Okay.
All right, you can have.
I hear you.
How about me knowing that mascot name?
It's a pretty good one.
Pretty good.
Good job.
Is that a top 5 mascot? The Lobos?
Yeah, I mean,
The Spanish for bull?
it's definitely top 5 when it comes to originality.
Hilltoppers,
Toro
top
is
5.
bull.
Hilltoppers, top 5.
Horned Frogs.
Horned Frogs, I like that.
That's a good one.
Just a new segment right here.
Just right on the top of the head. Next game.
Okay.
We'll give that one to me.
We got Florida State versus Boston College.
Florida State should be favored by 2
they're the
scores
Wolves,
in
by
this
the way.
game.
Yeah, I said
Not
that
the
Toro is Spanish for bull.
Okay.
Florida State should be favored by 2 scores in this game. Judging by what happened last week, I'd assume this line's gone down a little bit. I'm going to go Florida State -13. 13.5. I think people are probably skeptic on Florida State, but sharp
It's on the
line
road, right? It's in
lineup.
Boston College?
Yes.
Man, talk about 2 long weekends of travel for that football team. I'm going to say Florida State -10, but here's the deal. I'm interested to see what Thomas Castellanos does against this defense. He went for 400 total yards the last time he played them. So it'll be interesting. But give me the line at 10 in favor of Florida State.
Kirby takes this one. Florida State -16.
That's a lot. I don't know much about Boston College football, but that's a lot.
It is a lot of points. All right, you got a chance to tie, Brooks.
Do you think Florida State scores more than 35 points against a Power 4 opponent all year?
They'll do
You
it.
got to say right now.
They'll have to do it once.
Once.
I don't think they average more
What are they? Average. Give me the average of Florida State's offense against Power 4 opponents this year.
30.30, 32, somewhere in there.
I'd say like 28.
Yeah, I'm going to go like 26.5. That Georgia Tech defense is one of the worst that they'll play all year.
Yeah.
Bottom half of their schedule.
Yeah.
And I know they're not going to play as bad as they did against Georgia Tech, but nonetheless, I don't think they score a lot of points.
All right, your chance to tie. Notre Dame versus Texas A&M.
Do you want this one first?
Notre Dame -6.
No.
No analysis needed.
I'm going to go with Kyle Field and all the hype that this Mike Elko week 1's getting. A&M's going to be favored by like 1.5 here.
A&M is favored by 3.
What?
Yeah. I know. I had the same reaction. That's part of the reason why I put it on
Vegas
here.
knows something.
Yeah.
Vegas knows something.
Kyle Field got the juice, baby.
I'll never forget. It's a random ass story. I called my dad one year. I was looking at lines for some reason, freshman year of college. And I saw this random ass line where Utah was favored on the road as an unranked opponent against USC as a ranked opponent. And I called my dad. I'm like, bro, you got to lay the house on USC. He's like, no. Vegas knows something. Utah went in there and rolled them boys by like 4 scores. And I was like, the learning moment of, you see a line that stinks, stay the hell away. Stay the hell away. You think you know something? Get the hell away. So I'm staying the hell away from that one.
Vegas knows.
Vegas knows something.
Vegas always knows.
Notre Dame's the better football team on paper.
On paper, sure.
Considerably better.
Interested to see what the Midnight Yell looks like for this game. Throwing some shade at the
Should I try
Leprechaun.
my midnight yell?
Yeah, let's
ahead,
see it.
let's
Let's see
hear
it.
What do they say?
They
What
just
is-
talk shit.
They just tell a story.
They say cringy
Yeah, but
jokes
then
about
afterwards,
the other team.
the little guys behind them do the little thing. Oh!
Shit like that, yeah.
Yeah. And then they do it in some mantra and some cadence that makes it sound really special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice. Yeah. All right. Christian takes the win week 1. Thanks to BetUS for the
Thank you,
lines.
BetUS.
Shout out to BetUS. Are you looking for a new book this season? BetUS is the answer. Fastest payouts in the industry. 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first Free deposits, fast and easy deposit and withdrawal process. Check out BetUS with the link in the description below on this video. Shout out to those guys, man. What a tremendous partner this season, man. Feel great to actually have lines that we're sponsored by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not out here checking lines that we don't trust. We can actually identify value at a place that we trust. So shout out to BetUS for being those guys for us this season. All right, boys. Who's under the most pressure in week 1, and why is it Mario Cristobal by far?
It is definitely Mario Cristobal by far. Not by far, but he's up there on the list because if you lose this game, you're probably going to be in really, really hot water. Florida's favored in this game, but Miami's ranked 19th. Like, everyone's buying in for Miami being this is the Renaissance year. This is when Mario Cristobal finally puts it together and makes Miami that elite team. So to come out and lose to a Florida team that everyone thinks their coach is a dead man walking, that is not good, and that's a very real possibility. So Mario Cristobal is under a lot of pressure. On the adverse of that, Billy Napier's under a lot of pressure too. We've talked about how difficult the last 5 or 6 games of the schedule are. You need to get wins when you can. This is a perfect area to get one and build a lot of momentum on your season beforehand. If you don't get it here, it's probably only going to get worse for you.
A lot of anticipation, a lot of money spent on that roster this year.
Miami's actually favored in that football game by 2.5 points, according to BetUS.
But still, for 2.5 points over an unranked team when you're top 20 in the country, not great.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's the Swamp, though.
Yeah, it's at the Swamp. So
how much do you think, like in the NFL, home field advantage, I think historically in Vegas counts for like 3 points. How much do you think it accounts for in like an SEC stadium?
I saw that like
6
high tier SEC, like high tier college football stadiums, like your big ones are like 3.5 to 4, mid tiers like 2, shitty like neutral, like Vanderbilt would be like 1.5. So
interesting.
It is 1.5 just for travel.
1.5.
You leave your house 1.5 points.
Travel and you don't have the home field advantage.
Yeah. All right. I was just curious.
Honestly, I think the person under the most pressure this week is Quinn Ewers because Quinn Ewers is going to be out of the football game quickly in this one. They got Michigan coming up.
I didn't even think about this.
They're about to give Arch Manning like 3 quarters on Saturday.
Oh, wow, they are.
They are about to let that man sling the
he finna cook.
Oh, yeah. So I think Quinn Ewers is under the most pressure. Got to perform in your limited time slot of playing time this Saturday.
Oh, my God.
Because they're going to roll him out.
That's going to be a damn TV skit. Oh, it's going to be like an SNL skit of him over there going, oh, yeah. Every time, the one on Twitter. Carr? Yeah, it's like,
bro, that throw wasn't that good, bro. What are you talking about?
It wasn't that good, man. Chill out. It wasn't all that.
You don't even doing it like that.
I mean, anybody can do that. Yeah. I mean, it ain't
doing it like that,
impressive.
guys.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit. Look how bad that defense is. I mean, come on.
Notre Dame is under a lot of pressure this year.
Dame under a lot of pressure.
Notre Dame.
That hairline sure is.
Every time we mention Notre Dame, you gotta go back to there.
Hey, man, mine's under pressure too. I'm just, I wish I had the money to get the PEDs, dog.
It is what it is. But no, Notre Dame, people are saying it's a playoff team this year. Marcus Freeman hasn't really given you a proof of concept that he can take this program to elite levels. You come out and you drop a dud against the guy who's in his first week ever as a college football coach at this school. Not a very good look. Lots of pressure.
A lot of pressure on both North Carolina and Minnesota for a lot of the same reasons. Like you mentioned, I don't think they know who they really are as football teams, and now they got to go play a real football team with at least Power 5 caliber talent across from them. I mean, Mac Brown's got to figure out whether or not he can do it without Drake May and do it even as well. I mean, he was 7-5 last year, I think, even with a top 10 pick at the quarterback position. That's not ideal going into a year where you're not going to have that good a quarterback play like you did last year. So a lot of pressure in that situation. Also think there's a ton of pressure on Lincoln Riley for a ton of reasons, but this is very, very foreign territory for Lincoln Riley. Check this out. In his time as a head football coach, during his time at USC, he did not play a ranked opponent until week 7 in both years, 2022 and 2023. He didn't play a ranked opponent at Oklahoma until week 6 in 21, week 4 in 2020, week 6 in 2019, week 6 in 2018. He got stuck in his first year with a road game against Ohio State. That's the famous Baker game. That was week 2. Guys, he's never, ever had to go into a season hot. He's always had an opportunity most of the time to really build. Like it's like San Jose State, Nevada, we're going to get Stanford, and then guess what? 3 weeks from now, we got to play a real football team. But until then, we're going to figure ourselves out. No. He's got to play an SEC defense. He's got to play an SEC football team week one out the gate. That's a lot of pressure for a guy who we ain't even gotten into the discussion of him having to go into a tougher conference this year with the Big Ten. Ton of pressure for him to get off to a reasonably good start.
He's also under a lot of pressure simply because of how your quarterback's going to play. Like, we can all assume that if Miller Moss doesn't come out and play a really good football game, USC is not going to win. And if Miller Moss doesn't look good, the entire thing of Lincoln Riley is, well, you've never really been a good defensive coach, but your quarterback plays always redeemed you. Now you don't really have good quarterback play, so things will get very hot for him after this first week.
I think, too, he's going to have to be creative on defense because you're going against two of the best tackles in the country, and Will Campbell and Emory Jones. You're going to have to find ways to get pressure against an Nussmeier, and you're going to have to find ways to create havoc plays. You're going to have to do that against, again, two of the best tackles in the country. So it's a week one test of both sides of the football of, is Miller Moss going to play up to this standard that you have set for quarterback play under you? And is your defense going to show any type of change whatsoever? Is Bear Alexander going to be a factor in the middle of that defense?
Here's a team that I don't think coming into this game is feeling a lot of pressure, but if it's a close game at halftime, this fan base is going to feel pressure. The Georgia Bulldogs, everyone thinks that Georgia's going to walk Clemson just out of the building, and that very well could happen. They have the talent to do it. We've seen Kirby Smart do this before in these situations, but if this is a one-score game come halftime, Georgia fans are probably going to start looking around and feeling like, oh God, what if we lose to this game in week one when we've got Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss coming down the road? I don't think it's a scenario that's going to happen, but you very well could feel the pressure of this game mount up.
What a world to live in as a fan base.
Exactly.
Where if you're not up multiple scores at halftime against a 14th ranked team in a neutral site game, all hell's breaking loose in my Discord.
It's definitely a first world problem for sure, but I think the confidence that Georgia fans are feeling could very well get sucked away if it's a one-score game.
We'll get into it during film observations and notes. The more and more I watch offensive tape from Clemson, the more I'm optimistic that there might be some drastic improvement in year two for Klubnik. You saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it in the local hour. There was a lot of turndowns last year that I think a more confident and more aware and more experienced quarterback doesn't turn down. There's more explosives left on the field for a football team who is not explosive at all last year. I think they were bottom
96th.
96. I think they're 96th in explosive or yards per play last year while running the most plays in the country. Anybody else under a tremendous amount of pressure?
I got a couple of teams.
I think Kalen DeBoer is under pressure this week.
Okay.
I mean, it is Western Kentucky. It's not this major opponent, but no matter who you play against in week one, no matter what, no matter who you are going up against, there is still this standard, and then there's these expectations that people have about how your football team should look. Like, people expect Jalen Miro to just be this world beater for Alabama this season because he looks so good for Alabama down the stretch. They expect improvements for him. They expect this offense to be really good for Alabama.
I'm gonna take a peek.
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot to mention. I'm gonna take a peek. I'm gonna see what that offense looks like. I think the whole country is gonna be taking a peek.
Number one peak team of the year, I think.
Of the week. Early season. Yeah, everybody's gonna be trying to figure out what that offense looks like.
Yeah, so I just think that with the expectations that have kind of been set around this program, and people are very curious to see what it's going to be like under Kalen DeBoer, what the defense is going to be like. I just think there's a lot of pressure under Kalen DeBoer to really deliver in week one and make sure that you get this thing started off on the right foot.
You're going to like this one. James Franklin is under a lot of pressure.
Oh, fighting Neil Browns, baby. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is the year where, hey, this has got to be our playoff year, right? We finally got 8 more spots available. We always seem to finish just outside the top 10, sometimes outside the top 5. You come out and you drop a dud to West Virginia, a team that you are far superior than. Not a good look for James Franklin.
And you look constipated.
Yeah.
Like, can't run the football, can't throw it. Drew Aller looks like, ugh.
I mean, Vegas definitely thinks it'll be that. It's only -8.
Hell yeah, fighting Neil Browns. They gonna cover. I might throw it on BetUS. What's that? Find me the money line spread on that. I might make me some quiche this weekend.
I think it's Penn State.
Put my money where my mouth is. Put my money where my mouth is on BetUS. Huh?
I got one more.
Come on.
You dropped the ball last week while everyone was watching on national TV. Everyone's going to be watching you this week when you play on Monday night against Boston College. If you go 0-2 this season after all the shit you did in the offseason, talking about how you got cheated and how this is your revenge year, Florida State's under a lot of pressure against Boston College this season.
This is a get-back game, right?
It is, but if it's not,
it's gotta be, dude.
If it's not, it's oh boy.
Well, last year they kind of struggled. They beat LSU to start the season.
They beat the shit out of LSU.
Okay,
yeah.
beat the hell out of LSU, and then week 2, same situation. They had Boston College on the road, I think, and did not play very well.
Turn the ball over.
Looked sloppy the whole entire time. So they must get this at home this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a home game.
It has to be a home game.
Yeah.
All right, so I feel better about their chances to cover, but I could see them sleepwalking again, man. Last year they were year 2 in the transfer portal. This is year 1, brand new team basically. Like, I wonder how they bounce back. I wonder what the reception of the message is important. And this is something I pointed out about Norvell. If you listen to that Orange Bowl press conference, Norvell's saying all the right things. He's doing all the coach speak about how this is another opportunity to get better, and the message around the program, because he was getting asked tons of questions about the opt-outs. Message around the program has been about getting better every single day and taking this as another opportunity to go get it. And like, all the coach speak and all the words just were not being adhered to or absorbed by that roster last year. And I wonder, when you got brand new folks in there and you got to go speak to them and rally the troops, when the troops just got there and they're mercenaries, how will those troops listen to you?
Yeah, and I remember hearing about the comments of how he kind of admitted that he handled the whole situation wrong.
Incorrectly. He thought they were going to bounce back.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't put as much attention towards his own roster at the time. He was more worried about the recruiting class and getting that finished up, and really wasn't keeping tabs on his own players heading into a bowl game. So he felt like he mismanaged it. So clearly he felt like it was a learning experience for himself. So yeah, this is a time to see if he actually did learn. By the way, West Virginia money line plus 250.
That's sexy. You got any more?
No, I'm out on the pressure.
I've got one more, and this is the team that everyone prays on.
I do have one more.
Go ahead and say yours.
Because he should have been on Take a Peek. I left him for you guys. Ain't nobody curious about Jackson Arnold this week?
No, they're not playing a good enough team.
I know, but
they're not playing a good enough team.
Well, what if it's classic Oklahoma sloppy early season? Oklahoma will do this now.
Yeah,
they did this under Stoopy. They did this under Can't Cook Barbecue, and they might do this under used to coach defense. Okay, so watch out now. I'm just telling you.
What a rattle of nicknames.
You like that?
Those are pretty
That's
good.
off the top of the cuff right there.
Off the dome.
But yeah, no, everyone wants this team to fail. They play on a Thursday night. Colorado is under massive pressure against probably the worst matchup you could pick for a week 1 game. One of the best FCS schools in college football going in to play Colorado, a team that we don't really know how good it is, has a lot of transfer portal.
Man, you just stole a joke.
Go ahead, take it then.
No, we got first Heisman moment. I was going to put Shador up for it this week with a 2-minute game-winning drive against North Dakota State. I can't wait. I can't wait for Stephen A. Block first take to tell me that it's the greatest thing he's ever seen in college football. That, oh my God, can you believe what Shador Sanders did against North Dakota State? I'm telling you right now, Heisman moment coming this weekend as Colorado ekes one out against North Dakota State. It's going to be plastered all over ESPN. Shador Sanders, 48 for 64 for 425 yards with a game-winning clutch last-second touchdown pass to Travis Hunter to seal the win over North Dakota State. I'm telling you right now, forecasting.
Hard stop.
I would laugh.
It's happening.
I would laugh at that joke harder if I didn't think that that's probably not what's going to happen.
No, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
and people are going to do that segment real. They're going to do it like with their heart of hearts. I believe this. He's a Heisman contender week 1 because he eked out a win over North Dakota State. You watch. It's happening.
Mm-hmm. So we want to carry that into the next segment, Heisman moments?
Yeah, I mean, we can roll right into it. We had some other stuff going on, but we can roll right into that. I'm good with it. I mean, we only switched up one bold prediction. Not that big of a deal. We can go into that later. All right, one Heisman moment. Who's going to have the first one? The first Heisman moment of the season will go to who? Predicted?
So the first one I think has a big...
Other than Shador, because he's going to be Heisman contender and Heisman leader come Monday after a fourth quarter victory over North Dakota State. Say it.
Biggest opportunity, I think, I don't know if this is necessarily going to happen, is Cam Ward in the Swamp in week 1. Tough opponent, tough environment. If you go out and you have a really good performance, get a big win there, although it's against a Florida team that's not good, if you have the national eyes on you and you make a couple of really good plays, that's where I think the best opportunity is in week 1, where a high marquee matchup. Carson Beck could also very well fall into this category, I think.
Carson Beck got to go for like 430 this weekend.
Yeah.
And then people are like, damn.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, like, whoa, is he going to do this year?
I think that what requires a week 1 Heisman moment is the preseason hype and the preseason end. Like, everybody needs the moment to happen where they can plant the flag and say, "Oh, I'm riding with this guy now." They just need one reason for everybody to jump on board. That's why I have Nico on my list as a Heisman moment. They're playing Chattanooga. He's going to get a lot of running because it's his first start in a regular season football game that's not the Citrus Bowl. And there's just so many expectations for this offense and for Nico because of the history of Josh Heupel's offense, what they did in 2022. People are kind of expecting that to be replicated this year. I think that Nico has the opportunity to put up a bunch of numbers against Chattanooga. He's going to look really good, I think. He's going to look great in that offense. I think people are going to jump on board on this one very early.
All right, so I went a couple of different ways here. I went with the Shador joke first to lead off the segment. And then I was like, all right, who do I think legitimately could win a Heisman and has the opportunities early in the season to get them? You mentioned Nico. It's not Nico week 1. It's Nico week 2. He's got NC State. That's an opportunity to really ball and have everyone on that train because he's going to go for good numbers. Everyone assumes he's going to go for good numbers against UTC. Turn around the next week, do it against NC State. People are going to be on A block and ESPN. Well, maybe not A block because it's Tennessee. Might be in C block. I mean, even if it were Georgia, it's going to be C block. Yeah. Only Dion leads A block on First Take. I heard they did 42 minutes of Dion today.
I believe it. First
Take did 42 minutes, 3/4 of an hour on Dion. Won't catch me. Anyways, so there's that. I'm going to go Nico week 2. Also, same week, Quinn against Michigan week 2. An opportunity to put your name up there in the limelight for Heisman. Yeah. My last candidate, Dylan Gabriel. I don't know what week it is. They get Ohio State at home. I think if Dylan Gabriel is going to win the Heisman, we're talking about it from that week on.
That's a good one.
If what Coach Gundy said is true, Ollie Gordon's going to have the Heisman moment this weekend.
Love it.
If they give him that many totes. And
55 touches.
55 touches, goes for 200-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. That's going to be the one people...
Give me the football game from Ollie Gordon that College Football 25's Road to Glory settings will simply not allow me to have as a running back. Give me 55 touches, 305 for 4 tuds. That's what I want.
Sounds like your player's washed.
Huh?
Sounds like your player's washed.
No. Sounds like I didn't give it enough time on Road to Glory. Like I said, I'd just be smacking ass online.
Okay. I put an
phrasing?
Very, very bad phrasing.
Yeah, probably for... Yeah.
That's on me.
I have an OLI.
OLI?
Yeah.
OLI? What?
Yeah. I'm going to
give you a rank. You didn't give me a ranking.
You didn't give me a ranking.
How do you give me an OLI?
Because it's not that serious.
Okay.
You just want
You just want OLI.
I'm just and I already kind of talked about it. Arch Manning.
Okay. So a little sneaky Heisman moment this weekend.
Arch Manning, the new starter?
I don't know if Arch Manning gets Heisman love. I think Arch Manning does.
That's why it's an OLI. I'm not that serious.
He kind of looked better than Quinn this week. Maybe
yeah. We're going to hear that stuff. We're going to hear that
for sure.
Arch Manning, 2025 Heisman lock.
More likely to win the Heisman, Travis Hunter or Arch Manning
this year? Travis Hunter.
You think so?
He starts more.
Shoulder injury week 1, 4,000 yards passing, Arch Manning. Boom. Right there. I just made that is a far more reasonable take than Travis Hunter and Colorado are going to win 9 games and he's suddenly going to win a Heisman.
You're kind of turning me, actually.
Hey, yo.
Not that way.
Just on the argument.
Just on the purpose of the argument.
I like that.
Sure. If injury happens.
I mean, obviously, if Quinn Ewers stays healthy, Travis has the better chance.
Quinn Ewers has a history of not
staying healthy. I agree.
I like this take.
Right now, though, Travis Hunter has better odds.
I might go throw some on Arch Manning just right now.
He's on there.
I know he is.
I'll find it for you right now.
I might get some juice.
You know who's not on there?
Who?
Caleb Downs.
Yeah, they don't listen to the show enough over there on BetUS.
They don't even have the ladder available on BetUS.
Yeah, they just you know what it is? They don't want to put it on there because they know how much people listen to our word here. They would lose out.
They know.
They can't have that on the books.
It'd be a lot of cashing out.
It's a lot of liability right there for BetUS if they listen to the show that close.
They understand the risk.
Yeah, we're line movers. You know, we move the line so much that they don't even put it up because they're afraid of us moving it that much.
Exactly what it is.
That's what's going on right there. Any other first Heisman moments?
No, I was talking about this with Jay Will before the show. It's kind of hard to have that Heisman moment unless it's like an iconic game.
Yeah, big battle.
Like, I mean, the example I have of this is Anthony Richardson had a Heisman moment against Utah with that 2-point conversion.
With the jump pass?
Yeah, the jump spin 2-point conversion. Like, that was his Heisman moment. We all know
that was the day the Indianapolis Colts administration lost their job.
Pretty much.
It's unfortunate. You look like you got something for me.
I'm trying to read this number.
Oh, no. He didn't have his glasses.
Arch Manning plus 10,000 for Heisman odds.
Plus 10 racks?
Yeah.
100 pay out 100 G's?
Yeah. Dylan Raiola has better odds. Preston Stone has higher odds.
Hey, all I'm saying, fractured clavicle, week 1, Arch Manning, that number direct. I mean, you might as well buy the value right now. Might as well go put $10 on that on BetUS right now. Just cuz. $10 pay 10 grand?
Yeah.
Son, come on now. We might bankrupt that place this year.
We've been dropped by BetUS, everyone.
We have unfortunate
Any
news.
other first Heisman moments? Now, I think we need to clarify, when could Carson have his?
He could have his week
I mean, it
one.
could be this
Alabama or
weekend.
Texas?
It could be this weekend.
I mean, I think Heisman moment is per se like the defining moment of the season when everyone looks back and thinks, oh, that's when I knew he was an elite player. He could have a moment against Clemson where it's like, oh wow, Carson Beck is for real. His Heisman moment will be later in the season.
Yeah,
against
road win
Texas.
over Alabama or Texas.
Carson has the edge this week to have the first Heisman moment though, because he's playing a competent opponent that a lot of people aren't playing, a ranked opponent.
And stylistically, they're going to open themselves up to explosive passes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that he has the advantage over almost anybody this weekend to have the first Heisman moment because of the brand of the game.
I love that. One bold prediction?
Yes.
What do you got for me?
I want
to go first.
Yes, go ahead and go first.
One bold prediction for the 2024 season. Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers take a 17-plus point loss this weekend to the University of Georgia and then go on to win the ACC and make the playoff.
That is a pretty bold prediction.
I like it. I'm with you. I have them as a top 4 seed.
And here's why. Georgia Tech's schedule will knock them out.
Yep.
I don't feel any bit good at all about Florida State at this point. Who else is left? NC State's on their schedule. Louisville. They got Va-Tech on the schedule. South Carolina on the schedule. We could very well be looking at a very controlled loss to Georgia, which is what I'm predicting, a very controlled loss to Georgia, and then a wiping of the ACC slate.
And I mean, by the way, you can lose to Georgia by 1 million. It doesn't change your rankings in the ACC at all.
Yeah,
so
you'd still be a top 4 seed, no matter how badly you lose to Georgia.
So if Clemson were to lose by 1 million points and then win the ACC, do they make the playoff?
yeah,
Yes.
it's written in the law.
It's written in the rules.
Yeah,
Scripted.
I don't know. A 1 million point loss might break some rules. You know what I mean? They're like, damn, they're pretty bad.
I don't think it's mathematically possible to score 1 million points, even if you score.
Yeah, if you break
So
Georgia
now
Tech,
we're realistically diagnosing
the
whether or not
Georgia-
you can score 1 million points. That's what we're doing now.
That's the question.
if you're the victim of someone breaking Georgia Tech's biggest victory record,
212?
222, I think, or something like that.
yeah.
222 sounds right. 212 is
222.
boiling temperature. Yeah.
Thanks for throwing that in there.
Yeah.
I wanted my bold prediction to be that only one ACC team makes it now. I think that there is potential for that. Like you just
I like
get the
that.
conference champion in. But instead, I went with 5 SEC programs are looking for new head coaches at the next for next season. I think that Florida, South Carolina, and not necessarily saying that this is a lock that all these coaches are going to be losing their jobs or anything like that. But I think Florida, South Carolina, Arkansas, Missouri, and Vanderbilt could all be looking for new head coaches before next season.
I'm going to piggyback off that, J-Will. The Florida Gators will be looking for a new head coach somewhere middle of November, late October.
Is that hot?
No,
Is
no,
that
no.
bold?
He's building. Let me finish.
He's building.
Let
They
him
will
cook. Let him cook.
They will be one of the first teams to begin their coaching search as one of the more elite programs, and they will hire Buster Faulkner.
Woo!
That does seem like
That
a
boy
Florida
on that
hire.
sauce. He on that Faulkner sauce.
That seems like a Florida hire, though.
You got to print the shirts, get Faulked, right?
Oh, immediately.
J-Will's nickname for him in Discord was very good. I don't know if it's audience ready.
Busting us?
No. You got to pay $10 a month for it.
It involves
I like that. I like that plug you just did right there.
It involves-
It's a businessman.
it involves a fruit. That's all I'll say.
Nah, no way my brain gets there.
Someone will get it.
Okay. That's a bold prediction, though. Buster Faulkner, head coach of Florida.
I mean, think of it this way. Florida's never, I mean, for the last 2 or 3 hires, they've kind of gone the lesser known big name route. We all assume Lane Kiffin's going to be the biggest name on here. You just watched Buster Faulkner dot up your biggest rival in state. So why not say, hey, this would be great for us?
Florida fans going from we hired the dude from Louisiana Lafayette to we hired the dude from Georgia Tech that was the offensive coordinator. They would blow a
For 2
gasket.
seasons.
They would blow a gasket.
Probably, but
They have to go name hunting.
But I mean,
they have to go get a big name.
Think about it this
They're
way.
going I think they're going to throw the bag at Eli Drinkwitz. That's what I think they're going to do.
they could, but I mean, are they going to get Drinkowitz?
Bro, if you're Drink, you leave Missouri for Florida.
You got to, I think.
I think so too.
I think that's, if you're Eli Drinkowitz,
Bro, that state right now is ran by Portal U and a dude at Miami that can't figure out whether or not to knee the ball out. Like you could run that state.
You could.
Florida, the state of Florida has never been this down, and it's been this down for a long time. Florida State just got recently good again. They were good in 13. Miami ain't been good since 05. Florida ain't been good since that one time in 2020. And then what? We got to go all the way back to Meyer?
They won the East a couple times in 2015 and 16. And
so I'm just saying there's opportunity in the state of Florida.
Yeah,
that's the way I would look at that job.
I mean, if the door opens for Eli to get the job at Florida, I think your thought process would be to, I don't think it gets any better for me like while I'm at Missouri, I don't think that a better job opportunity opens up for me than the University of Florida. Like an Alabama is not going to be calling to get Eli Drinkowitz. A Georgia is not going to be calling to get Eli Drinkowitz. A Texas is not going to be calling to get Eli, like on and on and on. Like
USC. Maybe, but do you even want it?
Exactly. So, like, if you your roots are in the SEC, if a school like Florida comes knocking, you got to take the job, in my opinion. And I think that he would fit well in that type of environment. What they have at Florida, I think he's a person that would do well there.
I'm still sticking with my hot take. I like it. It's my bold prediction of the year.
Do we have any more bold predictions?
No, I think we only had one. That was the.
All right, let's talk about a show legend.
I found the perfect picture for this.
He hath returned. Now, we made this guy our show mascot.
Yeah.
Is that what we did last year?
We made a human being.
This time last year, we made a human being our show mascot. I think our man Biff Poggi is the guy. I think he is the face of college football coaching. I think he should be seen on every billboard in every metropolitan city in America. Can we flash a photo of Biff Poggi today?
I got the photo.
In his press conference. Can I see this myself?
It's not from the press conference. This is just
regular old Biff Poggi. This is just Biff Poggi hanging out in the world, just roaming the planet Earth.
Yeah.
This is what we
when
got
that pops
going
up on your screen.
Is this Pitts out?
Oh, of course.
Oh, I love Pitts out.
This is game day, Biff.
Oh my God, it's game day Biff.
He's with the squad.
With the squad, bro. Hey, you got state troopers. You a dude. You're a dude. Now, for those who don't remember, I wanted Biff Poggi today on the press conference podium because Biff Poggi apparently told the world that 9 of his 22 starters are out.
Yes.
He practiced them so hard during fall camp that half of his starting lineup out, can't play week 1. And he did so in not just a Pitts out shirt, but somehow he managed to pit sweat a shirt without sleeves.
Yeah,
I've never seen this before. Yeah. I'm talking about pit stains on the cutoff at the bottom of the cutoff pit. I'm not talking about pit stains in a shirt with sleeves. He pit stained a shirt without pit sleeves in it.
What a dog.
Dog on my man Biff.
Side boob at a presser is wild.
I just want to point out
side boob at a presser is crazy work. That is a fact.
I just want to point out too, when he initially made those comments, and you and I were talking about this morning because I was listening to it, and he said that his starters were out. James Madison was only a 7-point favorite. They're now 9.5-point favorites. I got it locked in at 7.
Oh, that a boy. You got value.
Smart.
Bet US. Way to get in on early.
I shared with the family too.
Pit staining a sleeveless tee is crazy work.
I didn't even notice the pit stains. I got to go find it.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely insane behavior going on right there. That's a top 5 character in college football.
Definitely. Top number 1, probably most underrated character.
Yeah. His story's great too.
Yeah.
Being a guy that was basically a really, really rich financial advisor that wanted to get involved in football. So he kind of essentially bought his way into being the head coach at the school that Jamon Dumas Johnson's from, up there in Maryland in the DMV. And then went from that job as the head coach there, turned that place into a powerhouse. St. Francis, I believe is what it's called. Turned that program into a powerhouse and then turned around and got an analyst job with Michigan, and then turned around and left Michigan and bought his way into being the head coach at Charlotte because he promised Charlotte's athletic director, hey, who would bring you more money than a multimillionaire as your head coach who's going to invest in this football program? Now he's a head coach at Charlotte.
Crazy.
And what he does with that money, he gets ice cream at practices.
Absolutely. Gets ice cream at practices and definitely does not invest in T-shirts. Now, connection to the Michigan staff. We've got time to talk about it. I purposefully did this. We went 53 minutes without talking about Connor Stalions because we actually have football to talk about. But I did watch the Connor Stalions documentary today. You listened to it while you were in here. You watched it?
Yeah.
What were your immediate takeaways?
It was exactly what I thought it was going to be, where there was no in-depth really looks as to what went down or uncover any of the scandal. He basically told you how he went about acquiring signs legally through the legal method, glossed over anything where it was premeditated, where he was on the Central Michigan sideline. He even been like, I don't recall that. So
I bought and sold tickets was his thing.
Yeah.
I was out here trapping tickets. That's why I was giving them to my mom.
My biggest takeaway from this, though, was
By the way, mom, covert op for Michigan football.
Low key.
That's nuts.
Low key. Mm-hmm. My biggest takeaway from this, though, was that this man was genuinely like insane for Michigan football. I firmly believe that if Jim Harbaugh called him in and said, Connor, I have a mission for you. I need you to assassinate Ryan Day. That man would off Ryan Day. Like, he was that down for the cause. It was insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I know some people like this, though, that love what they love like this.
Yeah.
I want someone to love me like Connor Stalions loves Michigan football. I think I found that in my wife. She will follow me to the end of this earth, obviously. I mean, she followed a dude that wanted to talk sports for a living and trusted it. That's pretty nuts. Shout out to her. This is no different than Connor Stalions. Mm-hmm. My wife, Connor Stalions.
Did you say your wife is Connor Stalions?
I don't know where that one went.
Looks exactly like his dad.
Yeah. Noticed that.
Twins.
Noticed that. Couple things about the documentary I noticed. Thought it was funny when he was like, "No, that's definitely not me" on CMU sideline, and then they cut Portnoy. He's like, "That's him. He told me it was him.
Yeah.
It's on him to say him.
Doesn't even look like me.
Doesn't even look like me." At that point, I looked at you and said, "That kind of lets us know the validity of this entire storyline from him." The other thing that I noticed and pointed out to you, don't know if you noticed this, buddy. This was all for cameras, all for show the entire time. He even had the documentary crew already following him at the national title and the Final Four game.
Yeah.
They knew a long time ago he was finna do this for show.
Yeah.
So, again, where in the hell was the NDA?
I just thought it was
He didn't need it. They knew he wasn't going to do anything that. I mean, did you feel any...
You thought Michigan had plausible deniability no matter what, so they just let him run? Just do what you want. They fired him with pay, by the way.
Well, I think they probably knew that he was so down for the cause. It's like, this guy's not going to say anything that's going to damn us at all. And he didn't. Like, you didn't walk away from the Michigan thing going, wow, we found some new evidence about this that makes you really say, oh, Michigan knew what they were doing. Other than the fact of the time where he admitted that the player recognized him when he had the ski mask on. That was the most damning story of it all. And that holds no weight in a physical court.
Well,
all that says is that they knew him on staff. He was already on staff.
Well, I think there's multiple examples of where it felt like he didn't say it, but he did at the same time. Like saying that you got a game ball from Jim Harbaugh
with your name on it. The only one they normally don't put names on them.
With your name on it, and this is after that Jim Harbaugh acted like he didn't know what was going on at all. Basically, acted like, yeah, we know who Connor Stalions is, but like I don't know anything really that he was doing. But you're going to give him a game ball.
That documentary
seems a little fishy to me. And then also like what Brooks was mentioning too about, he says he wasn't at Central Michigan, but then you have someone immediately after like, yeah, he texted me and said that he was there on the sideline.
I mean, the most damning part about all this for Michigan is the denial of the phone records from Harbaugh. That's it. That's all you need to know.
That
he wasn't forthcoming with evidence.
No.
He's guilty, period.
Exactly.
For something that he knows is different than, oh, we just stole their signs.
Yeah.
Like, no, you advanced scout to steal the signs. That's the problem.
This is, I put this in the same vein of a guy who knows he did something wrong, loves having attention for you, and loves kind of being known as the guy that did this. It's the same as the Bishop Sycamore documentary.
Oh, it's Nevin Shapiro. It's the dude down there in Miami, except he went down with the ship.
Yeah.
The Nevin Shapiro story, that guy loves talking about how much he did all the cheating for Miami. He loves telling people that. It's what he's most known for.
Exactly.
This Connor Stalions guy is going to go down in Michigan fan lore. He probably just absolutely just, you know what, every time someone asks for a photo of him.
Yeah.
He loves this.
Yeah, I mean, he brought a damn camera crew to the national championship game.
The Stones.
OLI on the top 5 fans?
No, I don't like it. I'm not putting cheaters on my top 5 fans. You don't get to be here. You don't get to be here. You got to do it the way my man Ingram Smith did. You got to be running this money down and be like, I'm about to be the CEO of your roster, cuz, because I'm Ingram Smith and I run the Noel cast. What? I wonder if I could go back and tell like Vince Lombardi, like, hey Vince, check this out. In 2024, there's gonna be a fan who runs a podcast. He's immediately gonna stop me and go, what's a podcast? I'm like, hey buddy, if you're gonna ask questions, just hold it to the end. And then I'm gonna say, he runs a podcast and he's gonna start being your general manager of your college football team. And yeah, there's gonna be money, we're gonna be paying players, and a fan's gonna do this. You think his head would explode?
Yeah.
I think you'd probably tell him a good bit about things that would be going on in 2024 and his head would explode. So,
and he would just probably sit down and be like, hey man, I got this thing for you. It's called Toss Sweep. I'm like, what?
You're never going to believe this.
You're never going to believe this. Toss sweep's going to make me the greatest football coach of all time. I'm like, well, wait till you find out about the RPO.
I'm gonna write a Bible-sized bibliography about me.
Yeah, 1,400 pages.
Or autobiography.
Wait till you find a man named Herschel Walker.
Wait a minute.
Make that toss sweep
Never mind.
even better.
Well, I had a joke, but it's inappropriate. We'll go on. I'll tell you it's break.
I love a good break joke.
I love a good break. We good on the national? Let's go to the local. We got a whole nother hour coming up right now. If you told him Herschel. Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You like that? You really like that? Let's shut up and grab some tape. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another loaded hour for you guys here on the Film Guy Network, brought to you by and powered by BetUS. Are you looking for a new book this season? BetUS is indeed the answer. They have the fastest payouts in the industry with 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. Fast and easy deposit and withdrawal process. Check out my BetUS link in the description below. A lot of questions from you guys about promo codes. We do not have a promo code. Just use the link and listen to this fine message from our friends over at BetUS.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
Can you call it hot off the presser if it's like an hour and a half after the presser?
Sure. You were cutting it close still.
I was. Running down the steps. Came through the back door.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little subtle.
It's cooled off, I would say, but it's still
It's medium off the presser.
lukewarm.
The papers have cooled.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Kirby Smart had a press conference today, which means I start the local hour with what he said and kind of my takeaways from the day. Going to let you know right off the bat, casual, or typical, I should say, Tuesday tone and demeanor from the man Kirby. Was bothered, rather. Did not want to necessarily be there. But I'll give you the notes anyways. I had 2 questions going into it. He's always talked about how offensive line is the hardest position for freshmen to play. I wanted to know, what position do you think is the easiest outside of special teams? Now, I've talked about this for a while on this network, and what is my answer every single time?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver. What are some other positions I talk about?
Running back.
Outside special teams?
Running back, outside of special teams.
Maybe corner.
Corner, because all you got to do is get in front of the guy and cover him, right? These are the things that I've said. As his exact rattle off, he goes corner, running back, wide receiver, specialty pass rusher, which is another one I've talked about.
Yeah.
If you're a third and long guy and you can get out of the quarterback, or get after the quarterback, we're going to put you on the field. So an interesting question
I'm
to ask.
surprised he answered that.
Why?
Because usually,
That's what the chat said too.
Because he
the chat, when I said this in the Discord, they're like, he's not going to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just surprising because he could very well be like, well, they all have a certain level of difficulty and they have a certain level of easiness to them that makes certain positions easier here but more difficult there. And it's a very complex game. Like, he could very well have gone that instead of just listing them off for you.
Yeah, he definitely could have dodged the question.
Yeah.
I think where I really pigeonholed him into forcing his hand to answer the question is, 1, the room I was in, he was getting a lot of questions that he didn't want to answer. And 2, making sure he didn't just go, well, freshmen get on special teams first and then they play. I made him go outside of special teams. And I think genuinely it was a football question, so he wanted to answer it.
Yeah. I figured he would have given you something like, well, it depends on our roster every single year. Like, where are we deep at? Where are we not? Where is a position of need? It depends on a year-by-year basis.
So I was surprised the rest of the room didn't follow up with, oh, you think it's easy to play at corner and running back? Tell me a little bit about Nate Frazier's chances to play on Saturday night, and Ellis Robinson's chances, or KJ Bolden, or have gone one of those routes.
We've reached the point of the season already where I think half the beats I don't want to ask him that.
Yeah.
He's not going to like
already
that,
perturbed.
Yeah. So
already ready to bite some head off.
Maybe next week I'll ask him. I don't want him to make an example of me.
So yeah, I was curious to find out that answer, and I'm more pleased when I find out my football kind of like theology. Yeah, how I view the game. When I'm asking questions like that, that's all I'm looking for confirmation of. Does he say something like, if he would have said linebacker or quarterback or something that I was off the wall, I would have been like, I'm gonna have to do some digging on that one. No opportunity to follow up there, but I would have been asking around. But he ended up confirming what I thought. I talked to him about how, when I spoke to Carson yesterday, about how he would identify the kind of ideology of Clemson's defense, and he told us basically they're a man defense that's going to identify some pressure. I took that question and that answer from him and said, Coach, if that's the case, if they're a man pressure football team, what are the recipes for success against a football team that plays that style of defense? And again, a question that if you don't answer or don't ask properly, he thinks you're asking for details on how they're going to beat Clemson, and he's just going to say, I'm not giving you details of our game plan. But if you formulate it to him as like, hey, man pressure team, what are the necessary requirements? What are the ingredients for success in that scenario? And he's going to give you the answer. And the answer is, first and foremost, we got to stay out of situations where they can disguise where they're going to give us, right? If it's 3rd and long, I've got an opportunity to really disguise where I'm going to fire you up with pressure from. Okay, there's a lot of ground to cover, a lot of ground for you to have to drive down the field. I can send pressure from blitzes. I can send from distance. I can send them from different places, right? So first and foremost, we have to avoid that. Also talked about how they have to avoid situations where they can attack, right? Where you're in a position where the defense can dictate to you. Have to avoid that. Also, obvious answer to this question, you're going to have to win your one-on-ones. If a team's going to be a man pressure team, that means there's going to be 5 guys coming most of the time, meaning your 5 offensive linemen have to win their individual battles because it's 5-on-5, and your wide receivers have to win their man-man battles because it's man-man coverage outside on the wide receiver. So I thought that was kind of forthcoming with what the ingredients are for the successes this week, which is, hey, protect the quarterback, stay ahead of the sticks, and win your one-on-ones. That's how you beat a man pressure football team. Talked about how KJ Bolden had been back for 8 or 9 practices since whatever injury hampered him. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what it was. They kept that one under wraps really, really well. Talked about KJ being really, really smart and intelligent as a football player. Reiterated the word intelligent multiple times. Thinks this guy's really, really, really smart. Comes from a high pedigree of football. Thinks he will respond really, really well in situations. And honestly, he said he thinks he's going to respond well when we call his number, whenever that time comes. I think about a month now, I've been talking about how I think they're going to Malachi Starks, KJ Bolden. I think they're just going to throw him out there and call his number and see how he responds.
Sink or swim, baby.
And that's him telling you right there, I think he's going to respond when we call his number. I think they call his number really, really early in the football season. Talked about how 7 or 8 guys will be wearing the green dot on the defensive side of the football.
Can you do that?
I guess they're going to have a channel. I guess they're going to have a channel up there in the press box where so-and-so's on the field. Georgia rotates so much that whoever's on the field needs to have the green dot, right? C.J. Allen's not going to be on the field all the time. Malachi Starks is. But I don't know. He said 7 or 8 guys.
Interesting.
7 or 8 guys will have it, but you can only talk to one guy at that time.
Okay, so you can have multiple guys with headsets on the field.
Yes, multiple guys can have the communication tool, but you can only be clicked into one at a time. How they are going to judge that, how they're going to, I guess judge is the wrong word, how they're going to survey that as a regulatory body, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask is how do you...
I guess it would be no different than our audio panel down there, right? Yeah. Where, hey, one's hot. Okay, one's hot. We're going to click off 1. Now 7's hot. Okay, 7's off the field. Now we're going back to 2. 2's got the headset and the green dot this possession. I don't know how. Maybe there's a rule, I would imagine, coming forward where you have to declare who's the green dot that possession. I have no idea. This is something the NFL doesn't have to worry about because the damn Mike linebacker stays on the field every single snap.
Yep. And
when he doesn't, I guess the backup Mike's got the green dot on his helmet. I've always seen in the NFL one position group basically has it. You know, it's just like a Troy Polamalu situation. So, interesting. But yeah, 7 or 8 guys with the green dot was an interesting one to me. Said the secondary's got to tackle well and compete. And if you watch the film study, we'll talk about that here in a second. I think it's a big block disruption. He calls it the Memphis drill. Y'all remember we grew up on Oklahoma, right? 1 down or 2 defensive linemen, a linebacker and a fullback, 2 offensive linemen, and a run or ball carrier and another tackler. Whatever version of that. Maybe you did a 2-on-1 or maybe you did a 2-on-2 Oklahoma drill.
We should do 1-on-1, bro. You just get up and run at each other 1-on-1.
Yeah, on your back, spin around, do that one. Yeah, it's a variety of ways to do Oklahoma drill. Most of it was, hey, we're going to line up, bang, head to head. Nowadays, he runs what they call Memphis drill, which is where we're going to practice the screen game out in space with our defensive backs versus our wide receivers. I know that's why they're so good at block disruption on the edge. They practice it a ton at the University of Georgia. It's a massive week for block disruption out on the edge. He talked about that today. Got to have a really, really good week tackling out there on the edge. Got to compete. He gave his thoughts on, why does that say IR? Oh, injury report. He gave his thoughts on the injury report. Said, my only opinion is what I've been told. We will start it with conference play when conference play starts. So I guess when SEC play starts, he's going to have to give an injury report. And I'm going to tell you right now, you know what you're going to see on the injury report?
A lot of questionable.
No. A lot of game time decision. He ain't going to give you one way or the
Questionable.
other. No, game time decision. Not even questionable. Questionable indicates that they may or may not play, or they might not play. More than likely might not play. It's questionable in my stance.
Yeah.
All right. Game time decision is, we'll find out. We'll find out in the game. You get no indication. I wouldn't be surprised one week if like 25 guys are game time decisions. Because he basically, I swear.
Just a big.
He said today he is going to put it in the hands of Ron Corson. And then he said, I can't tell you how many times in my career we have had to wait until the game and run him out there in warm-ups to see if the guy can go. And then we go from there. You know who's out there with Ron Corson pregame? Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there early enough to see Ron Corson with the rehab guys?
Yeah.
Dude, it's like 30 dudes. It's like 30 guys out there. There are going to be so many, quote unquote, game time decisions on this injury report. He's going to, oh my God, he's going to mess with people.
That's just Kirby going.
Basically. And he's going to throw his hands up and he's going to be like, hey man, I don't know nothing to do with it. That's Ron Corson. Hey. You know, Ron Corson's so good at his job that if you break a femur, you could be a game time decision. You never know.
I mean, not wrong.
Not wrong. Not a lie. Not a lie.
No lie told there.
There's going to be some absolute, pardon my language, earmuffs. There's going to be some absolute fuckery going on with this injury report, man. It's going to be crazy. Also love that. I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. He also doubled down on the mentioning of gamblers trying to get information on kids with injuries. I've covered this team for a long time now. I guess I don't talk to kids, so I don't know if this is a problem. They're having gambling sites run them down for injury information.
Are kids responding?
The only reason this is made aware to him is because it's been brought to his attention that this happens so frequently that gambling sites are trying to dig on these kids so often. I've heard him mention this multiple times about this issue. If it keeps our kids from getting hit up about injuries from Vegas and from gambling sites, I'm all good for that.
No wonder Vegas knows something you don't.
Maybe that third string quarterback for Vandy wasn't lying about the mob. Nah, he full of shit.
Nah, because they were telling him to throw the damn game.
Yeah, and the third string quarterback throwing the damn game ain't possible.
Nope.
We've all decided upon that.
But you're not going to touch the field.
No, you're not. You can't.
You were going to throw the game anyways if you did.
Talked about Peyton Woodring doing the field goal unit. Sounds like the transfer might have an opportunity to do the kickoff duties. I think I got a buddy from an ACC school. I think a buddy from Duke.
Yes.
Buddy from Duke.
Yes.
Buddy from Duke might have an opportunity to do the kickoff duties. So we'll see. But Peyton Woodring going to be the guy. So there's that. This is so Kirby. You want to know what Kirby Smart is? You want to know what doing the job of a media reporter is at the University of Georgia? Poor Mark Weiser. Mark Weiser asked Kirby Smart today, hey, coach, how about them special teams battles? You know. You think he'd name a starter in the special teams battle. We got 3 long snappers, says Kirby Smart. We got 3 guys. Going to be a battle down to the wire. Buddy could not even come up with his, just give him the one. Couldn't even give him the one. We got 3 long snappers. Hey, coach, how about the kick returners? Well, you know, Malachi's got background. Anthony Evans got background. Segovia White got background. Coach, man. Just tight-lipped about everything, even the damn long snapper. Wouldn't name a starter at the long snapper position, cuz.
You have to think at some point this is just him. This is the one enjoyment he gets out of. Yeah, he enjoys, like, he despises doing media pressers so much. I think we can all agree that if he had the option to not do them ever, he would never show up to one.
Absolutely, still.
Well, I think it too. Like, if he doesn't have to give any indication of his football team, he's not going to.
Yeah,
no matter how big or small it is, he's not going to give you any sort of indication of what his football team looks like.
So this is kind of his way of going, oh, you want to ask? I'm going to have some fun with this answer.
So you want to know, here's something really funny? No, I know it's because they have football practice, and football practice can tend to go. Yesterday, media availability, email, 5:30. This morning, hey, media availability, move back to 6:30. Kirby walked in there at 7:02. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, it's like that all the time. Every time. It's just cat and mouse.
It's a little dance.
Cat and mouse is a little dance the whole time. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I like. It's his way of doing the mess around that I guess Dion just does brazenly.
Yeah.
Like I think you're right. I'm in those rooms. There's hostility. He does not like some of those people.
Yeah.
He does not like being there. I should say a lot of the time he does not want to be there. But his way of doing it is to just stark response. And I wish, honestly, I think Norvell needs more of this. Norvell has tried over and over again to steer the narrative away from last year, over and over again. It's cost them a loss. I really do. I think it's part of the reason why they lost that football game last week. And all he had to do was the Nick Saban, I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Yeah.
All he had to do, and Kirby does this all the time, he's firm with the first one.
Yep.
If you're firm with the first one, hey, I'm not answering that question no more, guess what? Nobody asks you the question anymore. So I think it does play into his favor at times that he does make it really, really hard and make that room really, really tense.
Yeah, when he's in that environment, he's a very intimidating presence about him.
Yeah.
Like the way he looks at you when he asks a question, the stone cold face. So, I mean, it's all tactical. Like, he very well could go out and be like, oh, you know, I've seen him in other rooms where he's very much more enjoyable to be around. He kind of smiles and talks.
Oh, dude, we went from last year, SEC Media Day, last year, not this one. Last year, we went from SEC Media Day where he's stern, answering questions that he didn't want to ask or didn't want to answer, to immediately doing a candid jumping into my interview where he's doing that meme photo we have of him. Yeah, and Ben Jones. I'm standing there and he's being a goofball. And that's who he is most of the time. But he definitely turns that on. Yeah. Every Tuesday press conference is the same. He does not want to be there.
No.
He's not. He just got off the field.
Yeah, let's be fair.
I think what took him so long is, honest to God, I think his hair was wet. I think he took a shower. I think he got off the practice field, took a shower, and came in there and did that press conference. And it was like, screw these guys. They can wait. I'm going to take a shower.
Probably is like one of the last things you want to do after his day.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Is like go stand in front of a podium and you got to answer questions. And a lot of the questions you got to answer are probably questions you've already been asked before.
Or questions that you're not willing to answer anyway.
Or questions that just bring up sore subjects around your program.
Yeah,
like depth chart, obviously a sore subject. I mean, we know all the other reasons that you just... So...
Apparently, I gave you some shit on the film study.
I didn't take it that way.
I didn't think so either.
I just gave my genuine answer. I mean,
honestly, wrong guy to ask a question to.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know.
I did not grow up playing football, so I know I'm vulnerable in this situation. Yeah. I'm fine being vulnerable. I'll give my opinion.
Did you watch the film study?
I watched on and off of it.
All right. If you have two reads, one's a Dover from the number 2 receiver to your right. The other one is a single receiver down on the bottom with bump and run coverage, and he's got a go ball. Which one are you reading first?
Is it middle field open or middle field closed?
Middle field's open, but post snap it closes. He rolls to the middle of the field.
So if he's rolling in the middle of the field, you're probably going to see if your wide receiver can beat that corner quickly and immediately pop it off.
Yeah. So that's the right answer. Cade Klubnik did the complete opposite in the middle of the film study today. And it's constant stuff like this. It's constant. We'll talk about that here in a second. But you're right. You read it, go ball to Dover first. So Dover's going to clear last. Yep. You're right. It's the second window read anyway.
Man, no wonder I'd be throwing picks in that video game.
Honest to God, I do like that about that football game. I really do. I like that about college football. That
you have to actually go out and read the defense.
You have to be able to see. You have to be able to read it.
It's not, all right, my hitch is going to be open no matter what.
No, it's not, hey, we can just spam slants. Even though some of the run game stuff can be a bit spammy.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the offensive playbooks can be a bit spammy.
And I'll be the dumb fan every time we do those film studies. I think it's good for that to be involved in those film studies.
Dude, we need both. Yeah. Honestly, the content is for both. The content, and that's why I think the film studies here work. I didn't invent film study. No, I did. I was one of the last people to do it, honestly. But I think why it works is because you can watch our film study, and if you're someone who's been playing football or studying football for 2 decades, you can watch it and you can be entertained and maybe even learn something still, even though you're 20 years into it. And if you're someone who just picked the game up yesterday, you can watch it and be inundated with the knowledge that you're getting. I think that being able to do both, I think that's what makes that thing so special, in my opinion. What are you goofballs giggling at?
No, I'm just saying, that's the whole reason why I got connected to this, because I am that guy that didn't know football like that. So, that's the reason why I found the film guy, and now I have a seat on the film guy. Sometimes it works out that way, but that is me. That is
a primo seat.
Yeah.
We'll talk Georgia hoops.
I'll take all y'all to school. But yeah, football, X's and O's, not quite my thing.
All right. Any other thoughts, comments, questions, concerns about the press conference? He talked about Cash Jones. Talked about how Cash Jones sees the reads really, really well. Reads the field really, really well.
Do you think he mentioned Cash Jones for a reason? Was that brought up?
No, he was probed. Cash was made available to the media today.
Okay.
It was not that's why. Out of nowhere. He did slip in Trevor Etienne as a kick returner, though, on purpose.
Just have it whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, just to avoid the question or the assumption that he didn't mention his name, so he must be suspended. Even though we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Should we talk about that now before we get into our film study notes? Let's do it. Let's do running back room.
Let's go ahead.
All right. This was out on Discord from Unc over there today while I was driving home. I spoke to some people coming back from Athens today. I really do think this Trevor Etienne discussion, and it was a discussion, I think this was very fluid, okay, because the dropping of the charges definitely was a, hey, man, nothing even there anymore. Can this guy play type of reopening of the discussion, because it's pretty cut and dry. You get a DUI at the University of Georgia, you're going to miss a football game. That's almost historically the example. It's flat, cut and dry.
Yeah.
It's the school standard. You get a DUI, you're going to miss a football game. I would lean that he's not going to be available in this ball game for the University of Georgia at the running back position. Pete Thamel reported this today. I don't know what Pete's doing there. I don't know if Pete's got solid sourcing. I would imagine he does.
I would imagine.
Here's someone asked me about this today. Pete's in a role that Mark Schlabach was in prior to Pete. Pete's just on television now. Mark Schlabach was the guy that they would call and give a story to when they wanted the story out. I think that's what happened with Pete Thamel today, just personally. Now, he kind of leaked it on a podcast.
Yeah.
Or a SportsCenter hit.
It's a college football live. It looks like it's one of those YouTube videos, not even like shows, I would say, because a lot of stuff that I saw is like 10-minute clips and stuff.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it was one of those types of things.
Yeah, and it also didn't he reference the code of conduct or something in there?
Yeah, he mentioned that it is protocol.
It's standard protocol code of conduct. Yeah. It is what it is. But like I said, the reason we didn't jump on it early on, first of all, it was a fluid topic. I think there was active discussions, maybe even potentially still going on. I think there is some negotiating of I think it's pretty clear that the staff wants him to play. Staff thinks they need him to play. And the administration department is like, no, we got a firm rule. It is what it is.
This was kind of the theory I let out to J-Will before the show. What do you think of maybe a first half suspension?
Yeah, dress him.
First half suspension if we're up by 20 at
honestly,
halftime.
If you dress him, I think you should dress him anyways.
Yeah.
I think you should dress him and warm him up anyways. That way Clemson at least has to do he might be playing.
Yeah.
Is he playing? They would know that obviously really quickly by the spotter watching the offensive reps during pregame. But it is what it is. I would dress him.
Yeah.
I guess my question then, if he is suspended, I get that by depth chart, it probably immediately goes Branson Robinson, then it goes Cash Jones, and then it would be Nate Frazier. This is what I was going to get into. I think is what you're about to say. Even if the depth chart looked like that, I think Nate Frazier gets on the field before Cash Jones.
Yeah. The depth chart Saturday, in my opinion, is going to be Branson Robinson, Nate Frazier, Cash Jones, and by the way, Chauncey Bones after that. By the way, where would that rank in college football right now? It doesn't beat Ohio State. It's better than what Ole Miss has got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than what Texas has got.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than what USC's got. Mm-hmm. It's not better than what Alabama has. It's better than what Florida State's got. Even with Etienne not being available, even with Roger Robinson obviously not being available, you still have a really, really good run.
Yeah, this is not 2023
This is not last
where it's
year.
like we're grasping
No, exactly.
at
That's what I was
straws.
about to
Not
say.
last
It's
year.
way better than where you were last year.
Does this open the door for Dylan Bell to get some looks at the position? Because look,
No.
you don't think so?
No. Colby Young had hamstring issues pretty much all fall camp. They still need that guy to be able to play X. Dylan Bell needs to grow as a wide receiver. He's going to be, I don't even think he's taken a single rep at running back this fall camp.
Okay, so that
I
was
haven't heard a word about it.
That was a one and done thing. That's not a hey, we just found a Swiss Army knife.
that was breaking glass in case of emergency. Is what that was last year.
Gotcha.
I think too, like,
And by the way, it was overplayed. He had like 5 or 6 plays.
Yeah,
He looked good
It
doing
wasn't
it.
like a roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a spot play. He got almost as much attention at running back as Brock did.
Yeah, and I think at that point in the season too, that was kind of when they were creeping into that time period of we've got to get this guy touches.
Yeah.
Let's just put him in the backfield because we have like Ladd McConkey, a wide receiver. We have Marcus Orsimi-Jacksaint. We have Brock Bowers. Let's just make sure we get him the ball, put him in the backfield, see what happens.
It is interesting to think about how a month ago we were talking about how this might be the deepest room on the team, if not college
gotta think
football.
quick, man.
And then very quickly, it's like, well, we've got Branson Robinson, who's going to be playing his first game in years after a catastrophic knee injury, and then a freshman in Nate Frazier. How many chances are we going to re-give you?
That's 0 for 1.
All right.
So here we go.
0 for 2, then it's off camera.
Huh?
Oh, I say if you go 0 for 2, you got to go off camera. after that.
Okay, baby. Here we go.
Pressure's on.
Angel Reese over here.
Rimmed out.
But yeah, it's weird how quickly that room thinned out. And I think that's kind of shows you that you don't need to take things for granted in this. Like, you very quickly could have a deep room just dissipate from under you, whether it be injuries or suspensions or anything like that.
I'm just laughing at the TV executive that stumbled across our show tonight. And they're an hour and a half in, and they're like, man, this group is good. You know what? I might. And then he throws a rogue in the air and tries to catch it in his mouth on air.
Where are these guys going?
What
is about to happen?
on?
Damn Pat McAfee over here.
I can't wait for the host to go, where were we at?
Talking about the running back room.
Yeah. It is much deeper than it was last year. Here's what I say though. I say just recruit nothing but Nate Fraziers. Just find somehow, some way, and take gambles on them. I was talking to somebody in the building about this the other day, actually. I think Georgia got inundated for like 3 or 4 years, starting with Kendall and moving forward, of give me guys that are like just, man, 19, 20 carries in, they're getting better. They're just like big bruising backs. The last like electric back Georgia signed, it's like maybe Kenny, maybe. And Nate could be this. And moving forward, I want nothing but Nate Frazier's on my football roster. And here's why. Every time Nate Frazier touches the ball during his Georgia career, he's got an opportunity to score. I genuinely think that.
Yeah.
And that alone on this offense is so needed because they're so good everywhere else that every time a running back touches the rock, if you give that guy a smidgen of room, he might be able to take it to the door. You know how often smidgens of rooms are created by Georgia offensive lines?
Good bit.
Give me nothing but home run hitters.
I do think there is something to be said, though, about the guy that's like, hey, it's 3rd and 2. We need a guy who's going to get hit in the backfield and fall down for 3 yards.
This is why I'm pro Shane Marshall over like a Ousmane Cromah. Give me Shane Marshall. Shane Marshall, I mean, Cromah is great. I think Cromah needs 25 touches a game in the Big Ten. If you gave Ousmane Cromah, what was Buddy from Wisconsin's career?
Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, no, before him.
Amir Abdullah?
Melvin Gordon.
Gordon.
Give
Remember
Ousmane,
Abdullah's
that's who he is. Ousmane Cromah is Melvin Gordon. I would rather the gadget back, the guy that's explosive, just off the tape. That's the guy I want.
Yeah. Well, I think you also need both. Like, you need the change of pace. Like, the best example of this will always be Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel. Nick Chubb was that.
Bro, Nick Chubb has, like, he's the Thunder in that?
Yeah.
And Michelle's the Lightning, huh? Bro, for like 5 years in a row, the fastest player in the NFL has been Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
On home run runs. He takes it 90 in the NFL. He was Thunder and Lightning. That's what, like, I get so frustrated when people are like, oh, he big, he lift weights, he Nick Chubb. Bro, Nick Chubb runs 22.5 miles an hour in full pads.
No, yeah, Nick Chubb is fast as shit.
Nick Chubb is fast as an ever-loving shit.
But Sonny Michel,
he's a one-cut back.
Sonny Michel was much quicker.
Much.
And that's where the change
able to out of the backfield, I think, is what we're talking.
Yeah, that's where the change of pace came in. Like, you didn't really want Nick Chubb going out on pass routes. Put Sonny Michel on a wheel route or a quick dig or a quick out. Deadly.
Running back room is going to be all right, though.
It'll be fine.
It'll be all right.
And I mean, this is a 1 week thing. Like, you have to imagine Roger Robinson, that'll be what it'll be for a while. He's probably not going to be available. Trevor Etienne will be back next week. It's not that big of a deal. If anything, this is going to be good for the depth of your room because you might get guys like Nate Frazier, Cash Jones might get some touches in this game. So.
I love me a captain spin zone. Speaking of spin zone, my mindset about the Clemson offense has slightly changed. I thought they were boo-boo in a canoe before I watched them against Kentucky. I thought they were, not very good, during their spring game. And then I watched Kentucky tape. And you know what? I'm a little bit more optimistic, and I want to talk to you guys about this. I think if you're a Clemson fan, which they are rolling in, by the way, we are finding more and more Clemson fans, or I should say more and more Clemson fans are finding us as this game leads up to Saturday, as we lead up to Saturday's game. I think if you're a Clemson fan, or if you're thinking about Cade Klubnik, you can look at this one of two ways. Way number one is the negative way. If you're a fan that thinks they're boo-boo in a canoe, if you're a Georgia fan that thinks they're going to run and boat race this Clemson football team out of the stadium on Saturday, this is the way you think about it, right? You think of watching Cade Klubnik last year and you go, well, they didn't ask that guy to make a bunch of plays or a bunch of tough throws. If you really watch the tape, it's like, man, they don't drive the ball down the field a lot. In fact, a lot of it is plays in space, a lot of gadget plays, a lot of screen plays, a lot of play action rollout, a lot of two-man concepts, off play action, a lot of things that are nice and simple for the quarterback, and yet he still turned down a bunch of really, really good plays. If you turn on that tape, if you watch that film study from today, you will find multiple examples in that Kentucky first half of that football game where Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator, has designed winners for this man to take, and he turns them down consistently. He either does not see it or does not trust it or whatever you want to say. And you can look at that and you go, well, I just ain't going to never get it. This is a guy that's just not going to do it. He left so much yardage on the field last year. And, oh, by the way, he puts the ball at risk. If I were a Clemson fan, I would say all of those things. In every single aspect of that department, I don't think he necessarily improved last year. In fact, I would say he maybe even deteriorated. I think maybe sometimes the play got worse, in terms of the output or the outcomes rather. But if you want to look at this from the other side of the football, which is the way I would probably tend to do so, because I do think he is relatively talented, and I think he's gifted from the neck up. I really do. I think he's a 1%er in this department. I think from the head up, he's a really, really solid quarterback and thinks about the game the way you're supposed to. So I think I'm more on this positive end of things, which is, guys, he left a lot of yardage on the field last year, and there's reasons to believe that he could improve, that he's going to see those things, that he's going to be more confident about those things. And here's what I want to say. People talk about helmet comms, talking to the quarterback. Clemson is a signal team, so they're not going to be huddling. That's not what it is. But here's what it might be. How many times during that film study today, Jonathan, did I look at you and go, that's clearly where the coordinator wanted him to go?
There's probably like 4 times.
And they were all massive hitters, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Garrett Riley, just those 3 or 4 times, because they don't take a lot of shots. Watch them. They don't. They design them, they cultivate them, they wait for it to see, and then they strike. It's not a, we are going to dictate offense. It is, where is the shot play for me type of offense. So if that's the case, Garrett Riley can signal these plays in and before 15 seconds say, hey, the Dover's going to be open. And then guess what? Going into the play, he's going to hit the Dover. All right, when there's certain things where it's like, I'm trying to design this winner for us. I saw that on tape so many times last year for Clemson, and the quarterback does not execute. That might be able to go away. Now, here's the deal. Garrett Riley can't be overbearing with this stuff, right? He can't be in his ear the whole time. All right, well, they might play man. If they play man, we're going to do this. If they play zone, we're going to do this. That's going to inundate your quarterback with stuff. But when you got the shot, when you got the winner, which you're Garrett Riley, I thought you had just a shit year last year. I thought, oh man, you must have forgot how to call plays. When I went back and studied it today, that was not the case. I saw games and moments in that game against Kentucky where the coordinator on offense was beating the coordinator on defense, okay? and the quarterback was not executing. This might be an opening and a window for this guy to get these execution moments happening.
Couldn't that also, though, create moments where you get your quarterback just staring down wide receivers?
100%.
So, like,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
You can't overload it.
Yeah.
But what you do in that situation is you say, hey, we got a play action pass. Read it, post to Dover. If you read it, post to Dover and occupy the safety, Dover's going to be there.
Gotcha.
That's a 5-second window where we're signaling the play in. You're seeing the play as a quarterback. I'm in your ear saying, hey, read it, post to Dover.
Gotcha.
Okay, but take your eyes to the post first.
I think it could also slow the game down a little bit because you have until the 15-second mark where you're talking to the quarterback. So you're going to have the OC reading and
Not for
waiting
these
and
guys.
saying. You don't think so?
Dude, they led the nation in plays per game last year. They want to play fast. That's what they want to do. All I'm saying is when we design the shots, and it's not hard. They're two-man concepts.
Yeah, no.
If you watch the film study, we got mesh underneath, we got a post and a Dover. That's it. So the mesh is check down. They're not even in the progression. The progression is post to Dover. When it's that easy, we can make sure you're hitting the Dover. I think that's where there's some area of growth right here for Clemson. Other thing you'll notice, we talked about it ad nauseum, big counter football team. They're going to run counter at you a lot on Saturday. Also think you can completely chunk an entire portion of their identity out, which was the 21 personnel. They're not going to be in it. They don't have two good running backs. They got, or at least two trustable worthy running backs. They got Maffa, and they got some young cats that they think are talented, but they haven't seen yet. I'd be prepared for RPOs, but not RPO slants. I'd be prepared for RPO go balls. They're going two-way go outside with these big-bodied receivers, Stellato and the other cat, number 8. They're either going to try to stack you. If they can't stack you, they're going to back shoulder fade you because they got length. They're big-body possession type receivers, and they're not like Alabama back in the day was heavy RPO slant out of 3-by-1. Right? They take the number 3 wide receiver, which is more than likely Devontae Smith. They'd run him on a slant behind the front side inside linebacker. Yep. Okay, and they'd wait for that inside linebacker to suck up. Now they're going to get you in a situation where they're going to try to see if they've got a one-on-one outside. If they have the one-on-one outside and they're outnumbered in terms of box count, they're going to throw that one-on-one. You follow me? But it's not a slant. It's a go ball based off what I saw in spring game. Okay, so that's worth noting. Big day for corners. Okay, Georgia corners are going to be put on test, as are the Clemson corners on the other side of the football. What are the notes that I have? Play action, mesh inverse. They're a big, obvious play action scenarios. Like, you're a football guy. What are most likely, hey, the ball's at this portion of the field, be looking out for play action?
Well, after a big chunk play.
After a big chunk play.
Probably towards the middle once you get past your own 25.
Yeah, my thought process here is the moment I get past the 50 or the moment I'm in a second and short past the 50.
Yep.
The moment I'm in a second and short or even past my own 45.
A play where you
I'm in that middle of the field.
A play where you can kind of not throw away, but risk like having
Correct. We can chunk this play. We're either in 4-down territory. It's exactly what I said on film. We're either in 4-down territory or we're in a situation where we know we can take a risk. Those obvious, hey, watch out for play actions, be alert. I'd be alert every single time.
Did they seem to win a lot out of 21 personnel? Like, is that going to be a major thing?
It was because Shipley and Maffa were their best weapons.
Personnel based.
Right? Yeah, it was 100% personnel based. They were trying to get shots with Shipley out of the backfield. They don't have that this year, I don't believe. So they're going to have to go elsewhere. I think they avoid 21 personnel at all. I wouldn't even prep it, honestly, even though it was one of their base personnels last year, especially towards the end of the season. As Shipley got healthy and Maffa, during Shipley's time of not being there, really started getting to totes, they hopped in that 21 personnel a lot more.
It'd probably be interesting. Georgia has it, I'm sure. They'd probably want to watch film of when Shipley was hurt. And it was just Maffa.
Yeah.
Because seeing how much they went into that then.
That's one thing about film nowadays is, like, in high school, you exchange, like, last 3 or whatever you and the coach decide on. In college, if you put the shit on tape, I can watch it. If you did it on a snap in a real football game, I got it. I got it broken down. Exos done did it for me. They do a great job. Was that all the notes on that? Yeah, that was all my notes on film. Do we want to go to one bold prediction?
I love bold.
Or do we want to go one breakout star?
Let's do one bold prediction.
Let's do one bold prediction. Who wants it first?
Who went first last time? You did?
I'll go first. I got 3 bold predictions wrapped up in one.
Okay.
3 bold predictions wrapped up in one. You ready right here?
Read.
Ready? 3 bold predictions wrapped up in one. Nate Frazier, KJ Bolden, and Ellis Robinson are all rotational starters by year's end. Bold prediction number 1. Rotational starters.
Okay.
They're in the mix. Coach considers them starters.
KJ Bolden, who else? Nate Frazier and
The three freshmen we were talking about.
Yeah.
Nate Frazier, KJ Bolden, Ellis Robinson. My other bold prediction. 2 bold predictions in the segment titled One Bold Prediction. My second bold prediction, and it's not really that bold, but considering the voting history of this award, Georgia wins the Joe Moore Award, finally.
about damn time.
Finally.
Hot dang.
You want to go next? You want me, Jay Will?
You got it.
All right. Georgia does not have a single regular season. Single regular season. Yeah, that's tough. Georgia does not have a single regular season game end within 1 score.
Huh?
Georgia does not have a single regular season game end within 1 score. They will win or lose by 2 scores at least.
Oh, you're going both ways here. Not that they're just going to drub
Initially, you're like,
everybody.
oh, he's saying that
They
Georgia's
either
not
going to
lose
beat everybody's ass or get their ass beat. That's what you're saying.
Well, yeah.
Interesting. It's bold strategy, Cotton.
I will say, like, usually when a Georgia team does lose under Kirby Smart, it's not really a pretty loss.
Nope.
Like, it's not usually a close loss.
I mean, other than Alabama this year, like
Alabama a couple times. 2018 SEC championship game, Alabama this last year. But usually when they lose, like LSU in 2018, LSU in 2019,
not
Auburn
great.
2017. Yeah, that's not bad. I like it. My bold prediction is that I almost said 5. 4 Georgia players have over 500 receiving yards.
Quattro?
Wow.
Quattro.
5 would have been
4.
crazy. Are there
5
any
would've been
running
crazy.
backs on that list?
No, I think that your
That ain't
candidate
happened in a fat minute.
I think James Cook was the last one.
James
Nah,
Cook.
he was 420.
I think
He's 423.
one of them did it.
423. Check this on me. I think my brain even gave this to me.
Either James
immediately.
Cook or Kenny Mack did it.
I think he's right.
Fugazi.
You gonna doubt the stat guy, bro?
I mean, he is the stat.
While
man.
he's doing that, you know what? I'll give you a second.
Come on with it.
I'm coming back to mine though. All right.
All
All
right.
right, we'll wait for it. But you know what?
Anticipation.
Georgia
building.
versus Georgia Tech, blackout game.
Blackout game.
Calling it. I'm calling it. Think of it. It's Thursday. It's a Friday game. It's Black Friday. The name already coincides. Think of it also how this way is. Kirby Smart only uses a blackout game to kind of build momentum after something happens in a Georgia.
You weren't even close.
Really? Damn. You looked
James,
at me like I was really close.
Nah, James Cook didn't even have 400 receiving yards in 2021. Kenny McIntosh though 505.
Really?
Yep.
Cha-ching. Anyways, Kirby Smart only uses
So like
blackout.
40 a game? That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like 35, 40 a game.
Dog.
Bobo was in his bag.
All right, back to this blackout.
Yeah. The blackout.
Kirby Smart only utilizes a blackout when his team needs to build momentum. Now think about it this way:
He needs Uncle Mo.
you're going into a Friday night game, so it's going to be unfamiliar territory for your fans anyway. It's against Georgia Tech, who I presume is probably going to be inside the top 25 at this point.
And
You would have to assume Georgia's had a regular season loss here.
Kirby Smart, marketing genius, blacking out on Black Friday?
Exactly. I'm telling you, it all signs point to, and again, it's been 4 seasons since you've done it. The fans have been yearning for it. It'll also be senior night. In a game that will be probably a must-win against a tough opponent.
Black
Georgia
Friday,
versus
black
Georgia Tech,
jerseys.
blackout.
Honestly, I think the senior class, did most of them play in 2020? The last time they blacked out? Cincinnati?
A lot of them didn't.
A lot of them didn't. They've probably, a lot of the senior
21,
class
I mean,
probably hasn't worn black
The
jerseys.
seniors this year are class of 2021. You've got fifth years that are that were in
That
2020.
wore the black jerseys.
Yeah, there's
But you
some
have-
of them.
You have guys that will walk on senior day that if they do not wear black jerseys in that senior day, they will go the entire 4 years without wearing them. If I were a Georgia football senior, I would be Rudying my jersey to wear black jerseys. I'm like, Coach, I'm putting my red one down because I'm wearing black this week.
I'm telling
Not
you,
a bad idea.
that's my hot take.
Hold him hostage to wear black jerseys against Tech.
Yeah, but going back to my bold prediction, you asked, is a running back in the mix? No, I don't think a running back gets to 500 receiving yards this year. I think your candidates would be Oscar Delp being one of them, Dylan Bell, Colby Young, and Dominic Lovett as your candidates.
If Colby Young gets 500 yards receiving this year, man, that might be your first ground rule double out of the transfer portal since Lawrence Cager.
Yeah,
Who's the best transfer?
like first year.
Like first year, like ground rule double came in, played really well. Was a key role.
J.R. Reed, Murray Smith.
J.R. Reed was year 2 out of Tulsa.
Oh, like you're saying, like after
I'm talking about like showed up out the portal, bam, we got a ground rule double. That guy was really, really good for us. Darren Kendrick is the only answer. Chat hit it immediately.
Darren Kendrick is an answer. There's got to be another one.
JD Daniels.
Like you're looking at Eli Wolf, Trey McKitty.
Ooh, Maurice Smith. That's a good pull.
Smith.
That's what I said.
That's a
Maurice
good
Smith.
pull. I didn't hear you.
Pull.
My bad.
So the first one, and then after that, took a while. They don't immediately hit, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you're
And
right.
Colby immediately having 500 yards would be like, wow, they hit a home. That would be a home run for Georgia.
You need Colby Young versus Texas A&M this season.
Yeah, like 4 times.
Every game.
I honestly, do you remember me saying this about Rah-Rah? About how before all the issues, Georgia needs Rah-Rah to have like 700-yard games, where it's like 5 receptions for 105. And if you have that, that's the Rah-Rah season you need. This is the same thing you need out of Colby Young. You need Colby Young to sporadically have 100-yard games. And I think that will open up this offense tremendously. I don't need Colby Young consistently to be good. I need Colby Young to show up against randomly Tennessee this year and have 8 for $120. That's what I need.
I agree with that. Does it benefit you to not have a monstrous year for Colby Young this season, so he's incentivized to come back in 2025?
I think he's incentivized to come back in 2025 anyways.
Even if he has like a 600-yard season?
I mean, maybe.
People in the chat have me contemplating myself. Roquan Smith did not transfer.
No, Roquan Smith did not transfer.
He was
Roquan
committed
Smith-
to UCLA.
Roquan Smith was a last-second flip to UCLA.
I was like, what? But the multiple people kept saying it, and I was like, what? Am I forgetting something?
No. Montezuma, Georgia.
You guys are getting Kirby pissed off, all right? Y'all pipe down in there. He's getting off his rocker.
Stash is tingling.
Yeah.
One breakout star. Who you got?
This was a really...
I got Damon Wilson. I think Damon Wilson's going to have just a tremendous year this year. I think Damon Wilson, year 2, you should have seen the tape out of Damon Wilson out of high school. American Heritage, my God, the twitch on this individual. Now, the problem, it wasn't American Heritage, it was another one down there in South Florida. Anyways, Green School, Venice. He's from Venice. My man had elite twitch, bend, all the rush abilities as a true freshman. The problem was a little bit short on the weight. Okay, needed to put it on. He walk around 250? 250 right now. Say you're going to play at 247 this year. Dialed. Mom and dad living with him. Damon Wilson, breakout year.
I think that Raylan Wilson has the potential to be a breakout year. And I think it's because I tried to find a player on this roster because I think there's so many names that you could really go with on, like, whether it's freshmen that they're going to break out this year or maybe a new starter that's going to have a breakout season. I think that Raylan Wilson has kind of gotten shoved under the mix of this linebacker group because you have 3 really good ones. 3 really good ones that are starting. And I think that Raylan Wilson is going to get playing time. They rotate linebackers. Raylan Wilson is going to get playing time. I think he has the ability, and we've seen this with linebackers in your past, where when they get their moments, they shine and they spark. I think that Raylan Wilson could have a breakout season this
Who
year.
you got, Kirby? You know what? I want the ball back again. I got Dalen Everett breaking out nationally, having just a tremendous year and being the guy, like a strap down corner out there for the University of Georgia. Every year they got a guy. I think it's this year Dalen Everett breaks out. Who do you got, Kirby?
Here comes Nate Frazier. I think that...
No, I'm good, man.
I was waiting.
Pump fake got him.
I was telling J-Will, though, it's kind of hard with our line of work to pick a guy who we think is going to quote-unquote break out because we're so aware of everyone. But I think the obvious answer is KJ Bolton. Not within necessarily this space, just because people are kind of already all talking about him. But nationally, it could very well be like, wait a minute, Georgia has this freshman safety who's making all these plays. Like, and Kirby Smart has hinted at this as well. KJ Bolton's career pathway could very much look like Malachi Stark's, where the first few plays he's on the field makes a holy shit play like, wait, that's a freshman, and then the nation takes notice. So I have KJ Bolton in this list.
I like that.
I honestly thought you were going to go Nate Frazier.
I think that Jonell Aguero is a great candidate.
Honestly, I mean, you can shut that up. I got Jalen Walker as a breakout. I'm just kidding.
You already said Jalen Walker.
I got the name in there. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
No, but I think Jonell Aguero
Right.
is
If I cut you off after the name, it kind of defeats the point.
I got
That's on me. I got to be quicker.
But I do think Jonell Aguero is a good candidate because we talk about so many times about the star being in a position more times than not to have an impact on the football almost every single play. Jonell Aguero might get picked on a little bit this year just because he is one of the new faces, very few new faces in this defense. But I think that he has the potential to help out in the run game, help out in the passing game, make flash plays, and he is one of the few new starters on this defense.
All right, Cash Jones has been the special teams demon for like 2 years now. Who is your candidate for special teams demon? Because I got one.
Who's like
You
the
want mine?
freakiest?
Well, I guess Dan Jackson would fall in this category.
Dan
too.
Jackson
Special
falls in
teams
this
demon for a
category.
little while. Zamir White was a special teams demon.
Zamir White was a special teams demon.
Who's the special teams demon this year? I got mine.
Let me think.
I got to think back at this recruiting class. One of the linebackers, maybe.
I want to say
Terrell Foster. Ooh, Terrell Foster,
That's a good
special
one.
teams demon this year.
I want to say like
I got that
Michael
answer.
Jackson.
No, wide receiver never. When was the last time a wide receiver was a special teams demon?
Jackson.
Rojak. Okay, he's a little bit different. He's a different breed.
You asked. I answered.
Rojak. Lad was on punt team for a while.
Dude, the answer is Jake Pope.
Oh yeah, it
Jake
is.
Pope.
That's a
special
great answer.
teams
Give me Hornet Nest,
demon.
Jake Pope.
Hornet Nest.
Yes,
Saturday.
double Hornets.
Give it to me.
I want double Hornets.
Even if they ain't broke, I just want it.
Just give him the horns.
Put them out there like
Just
that.
punch people, dude.
Cole Spear get a good shout. Cole Spear, Jake Pope, offense, defense, Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they could get confused for one another, to be honest with you.
Every time I think about these special teams moments, I know you've talked about this before, and I think it was you talking about this and made me pay attention to it more. But when Trayvon Walker got put out on special teams, it's like, dude, what? He's on kickoff.
The funny thing was, true freshman Trayvon Walker, I think, played at like 290. Like, true freshman Trayvon Walker was a little bit thicker than even pro Trayvon Walker is now.
Yeah.
Like, I think he left his Georgia career playing at like 275. Boy, he was so big as a true freshman running kickoffs. Oh, my God.
It's so
Watching people
frightening.
get the hell out of the way I wish, honestly, you know, Georgia, every once in a while, they'll selectively sky kick a ball just to make their cover team cover.
Yeah.
I wish they would have done that more often with Trayvon Walker, because guys would have actually had to block him. Most of the time, they just like, you see that shit? No way. No way, coach.
That was a bear.
What was that?
It'd be funny, too, if one of his teammates just went, he's a walk-on.
That's a walk on.
Yeah, we got him for free. Position battle.
That's what's left. Yeah.
Let's do it. That's what's left on the show notes. Man, tonight has
Is this
flown
our
by.
last one for this game?
I think so. We covered everything.
We haven't done safeties, but that kind of got grouped in with
We did
DBs.
DB room.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
did DB.
it's hard to classify safety matchups.
For
just
sure.
'cause
I agree.
Most of the time you're standing over the coverage, but
All right, position battle it is. We got linebackers tonight. Who wants to start? In a vacuum, how are you ranking these? I got page 62 on the notes, so let me go back here.
I went Georgia. I put them in an A+. I think this is two of
I
the
gave him a flat A, but go ahead.
it's hard to always give A+, but like it's hard to think about an example of when the linebacker room as a whole, the interior linebacker room, was better than this. 2021 is a great example. That was an A+ room. I would put that on par with this. We know Smile Munnan, he's going to be a 3-year start at this point. CJ Allen, he might be a little green. He's only started like 5 or 6 games, but he is flashed and he can show that he's elite. I would put this right up there with all the others. And if you want to count the jacks and all that, I know they're not net technically, but Michael Williams.
So an A+ standard here would be 2021,
I would say so, yeah.
right? N'Kobe, Quay, Channing.
Yep.
That's A+ standard. That's as good as it gets.
Yep.
I think you're a Jalen Walker and a Raylan Wilson developing into a Channing Tindall away from this being an A+.
That's fine.
I put it at a flat A. I didn't want to go as far as an A- because I think Jalen and Raylan are really, really good, but they're not quite what Channing Tindall was that final year. I think we're a year away from that. The problem is next year Smile won't be in this mix, and I'm so excited. I hope he's 100% healthy all year, because I don't think people realize how much of a freak athlete Smile is, okay? Because last year he played banged up the entire time, and then 2 years ago he was a first-year starter, so it was like his body was just doing while he was thinking. Now he knows everything that's in front of him, and he's going to be able to play free without pain this year. I think Smile, as much as we talked about CJ, and I think CJ is going to be great this year, I think Smile is going to play some of his best football that he's played at the University of Georgia, and he's played some damn good football.
Yeah, I'm with you. I gave him a flat A as well. And I think that we've kind of said this about multiple positions for Georgia this year, where they very well could play themselves into a higher grade, or in this case, Georgia's linebackers could very well play themselves into an A+ before the end of the season. But yeah, I think that right now you have one of the best linebacker groups in the country. They have the potential to become the best, but I think right now, just talent level, what you have returning, and some of the new names also that you added into this mix, I think it is a flat A. It's really, really good.
How about the matchup for Georgia? You want to go matchup first, or you want to go Clemson first? Let's go Clemson first.
Okay.
I love Barrett Carter.
Yep.
I think everybody loves Barrett Carter. I think he's the best playmaker at the position in this football game. Would you disagree? I think Barrett Carter is going to make the most flash plays of any linebacker in this football game.
That's not a crazy take to give.
Okay. I agree with that right there. That's my thought process on Barrett. I think honestly, if we were to draft him in a vacuum, I'd probably take Barrett first, Smile second, and then next year take CJ over all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were all in the same class. But anyways, I love the other linebacker because listen to his name, Wade Woodaz. If I call you from a field in the middle of Texas and I said, Coach, I got a linebacker here. His name's Wade Woodaz. You're telling me to offer him on the spot. Sign him immediately. Woodaz. Absolutely right on it. Now, how about this? Wade Woodaz, 6'3.5", 235.
Sign him.
And he's white.
Scholarship. Well, what does that got to do with it?
I mean, he plays at Clemson. Has a lot to do with it.
Okay. Skalski, Ben Bull, wherever.
I mean, they got a history, track record. About the only
targeting penalty incoming
that's got it other than Ohio State. That's it. Ohio State, Clemson, white linebacker, you. We got any other suggestions?
Here's one of them.
TCU, Tank Carter, maybe. That's just a special one for me. I remember Tank Carter. But other than that, who out here putting out white linebackers in the league other than Clemson and Ohio State?
Iowa. Probably.
Iowa. Anything white, you can assume it's Iowa.
That's kind of where my mind went.
That's fair. But anyways, I'm giving this room an A-. I even think their young guys are really, really good. Sammy and Jamal Anderson are really, really, really good linebackers at a young age.
Man, me and you, Spider-Man meme. I went A- as well. I like Clemson's linebacker room as well. I think Barrett Carter really trajects this room higher than what it would be if you just kind of took him out and you put it with the rest of the guys. But the young pieces as well matched up alongside Barrett Carter. I really like that room heading into this season.
I too went A-. I think there's a few more pieces that are kind of like, are they really, really good yet? But we all know Barrett Carter is probably the best linebacker in college football.
You know what I love most about this unit from Clemson? Stylistically, they let these guys play so free. So free. They let them play downhill. They let them hunt the football. They don't make them be so like gap aside. They don't have to play as disciplined as like a Georgia linebacker does. And you see this in their body types too. Like they have really, really hybrid cross trained football players like Sammy, like the Wood-ass kid, like Barrett Carter. These are all guys that can rush your tackle and, fit B-gap if they need to in the run scheme. I really like how they selectively have recruited the position while also allowing that position to play freer than any other position on their roster, I would imagine,
very much
in my opinion. So I give it an A-. How about the matchup?
Matchup for Georgia, I gave an A. I think that one of the best ways to be an effective linebacker is to have a very good defensive line that opens up easy holes for you that you don't have to scrape over and things like that. Georgia's defensive line is going to have a fairly good day against this Clemson offensive line. We're pretty confident in, which is going to open up a lot of room for tackles to be made with the linebackers room.
Big counter team too, so flowing over the top of this and having good keys and good reads at the linebacker position. I went the other way for this matchup. I gave it an A- for Georgia because of the counter. Like I said, it's a really, really tough read on this system. It is a Riley system, so there's going to be a bunch of eye candy as well. That's a lot of responsibilities in terms of eye discipline and being in the right gap. That will always, always make for a tough matchup for them. I gave it an A-.
I went flat A for this one. I like Phil Maffa. I think he's a good matchup for almost anybody because he is a big back. He's a big body back, and he runs the football really well. But I think that the issues up front for Clemson on the offensive line, I think that does make it pretty favorable for Georgia in their linebacker core. And I think that just in general, Glenn Schumann in that defense, they find ways to get their linebackers involved in making plays. So I like their matchup against Clemson.
All right, how about Clemson's matchup in a vacuum? What do you got?
I went with B. I think these linebackers are very talented. The matchup got a little easier with all the pending running backs that are going to be out in this game, but you're not going to get a lot of clear holes with this Georgia offensive line. Like, they are one of the best offensive lines in the country. And oh, by the way, if you're going to bring 5 consistently, there's going to be holes open for Carson Beck to attack. So I think it's not a great matchup for them. They're going to be fine, but it's not a great matchup.
I went B+. I still think I think this is honestly one of Clemson's best matchups against Georgia in this football game. I think that the talent that they have, I think that's what makes this somewhat the most favorable for them going into this game. But still, like, you got a big unit of an offensive line that you got to go through as well. You got a really smart quarterback that is a processor and probably not going to fool him too often, but I still think that this is maybe where Clemson could have success against Georgia is with these linebackers, so I went B+.
I gave it a B-, and here's why. I think if I were the offensive coordinator, if I were Mike Bobo right now, my whole entire game plan would be figuring out how to make sure we're solid in blitz protection. That's first and foremost. But the other thing is how to isolate the other linebacker on the field that isn't Barrett Carter and isolate him in a one-on-one. If you're going to rush 5 and you're going to play man coverage, that means I have a running back on your linebacker. Or I should have somebody on your linebacker. Somebody is in a one-on-one situation with hopefully somebody who is not named Barrett Carter. Because Barrett Carter can run with anybody that isn't a wide receiver on this roster. I truly believe that. Maybe even some of the wideouts, to be honest with you. But I do think Mike Bobo is going to find a way to develop an explosive, probably with Nate Frazier, on one of these linebackers. I don't think Wade Woodaz or Sammy Brown can run with Nate Frazier. I'm saying that right now on Tuesday, August 27th. So that's my thought process.
I like it.
I'd be dialing a shot. I'd be doing just what Clemson did offensively with Will Shipley. I'd be trying to get that guy out and loose. Any other thoughts?
Don't think so.
This is a good 2 days. Good 2 days of content.
We got What If Wednesday next.
We got 2 more. We got What If Wednesday next, and we got defensive film study on the Clemson side of the football. We're going to break that out tomorrow. It's a good time to be on the Film Guy
It's
Network.
so easy to do content when the season's actually
It is,
here.
man.
There were some points in the offseason last year I was like, we're
grinding.
We're scraping right now.
We're grinding. I feel like we're really, the 2 or 3 weeks coming into the season, I felt like we were hitting a groove.
Yeah, you
Even
feel
in some of the dog days of the summer, you can really feel like we were cooking. We're having good laughs, having a good time. And now, buddy, to the moon. To the absolute moon.
Got a full year of starts under our belt now.
Oh yeah, we're hot. We're vets at this point. Shout out to BetUS for supporting tonight's show. We appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I love you. Bye.